Really, I would love grandchildren. And if by quitting it extends my life some, I would gladly lay it down.
Visit tobaccofreeflorida.com to find free resources to help you quit your way.
Today, push harder, push forward, push vigorously.
There are things that I am hiding from people that I'm trying to inspire.
You can do whatever you set your mind to.
I feel like a hypocrite a lot of the times.
Don't give up on yourself ever.
Smoking, I hide it because I'm ashamed of it. I want to get out of the shadow. I want to show people there is light away from the darkness. I am going to quit.
Visit tobaccofreeflorida.com to find free resources to help you quit your way.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months and whose daughter is due any day. We're with Mike, who's leaving home to protect his family and yours. We're with all service members and their families who need community, connection, and maybe a bit of magic. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today. We're with Liam after his 4th military move, when being new is starting to get old. We're with Tara during the holidays, when she misses home the most. We're with all service members and their families who need connection, comfort, and a home away from home. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today.
It's always a good day when you hear from TJ Meister from the Floor Meisters in Naples, 6281 Naples Boulevard, 239-596-4964. All right, let's see what's going on with TJ today. How are you, TJ?
I'm doing well, thank you, Drew. It's good to hear you on the radio.
Thanks, TJ. Appreciate it. All right, Floor Meisters, what do we got going on?
Well, we're just keeping up with the demand for Cortec. Just had to order a truck and bring it in from the west coast of the United States to keep up with all the needs and wants of the people of Southwest Florida. Somebody doesn't have it, give me a call. I probably do.
Why do people love Cortec so much?
Well, it's waterproof, kid-proof, pet-proof. So if you got a pool, no problem. If you got a dog, no problem. If you got a husband that spills, no problem.
You got to call the Floor Meisters in Naples. What do you need? Tile, carpet, Cortec, 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples, 596-4964. Give them a call, 596-4964 for the Floor Meisters.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Thank you for waking us all up out here, for all you do.
Thank you for giving us the voice.
For being out there helping keep the constitutional republic. I want to thank you for
your support for veterans in the military.
Educating us.
Standing up for conservatism.
Giving us the truth.
Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
So can I open up the program by saying this? And I hope you don't mind that I open up this way. But today's the day. Look, it's just the truth. I'm just spitting the facts, as the kids like to. I don't know if the kids say that. Today is the kind of day when you realize why Florida's Voice exists. Because there's no doubt about it. We, you, here in the state, this program is statewide. There's a reason why we exist. It's because of days like today, because you start to realize that we are the epicenter of the political universe. Everything in this country right now is coming down to Florida. It's this state. It's the people that are in office in this state. It's the people that will be running for office in this state. Everything is happening right here. Have you realized that today? Well, guess what? If you don't think so, I'm about to prove why we are the epicenter. I don't know how you can't see it. Every talk of cabinet positions has to do with somebody that lives here or is representing us here. It's amazing. I can't believe it. I love it. I'm excited. I'm pumped. Hey, it's great to see you. Thanks for joining us today here on Florida's Voice. My name is Drew Steele. His name is Big D. He's back at the studio along with Nina, who's doing all the extracurricular work. Don't ask me to spell it. Extracurricular. Nina, I can spell easily. And anytime you want to watch at FL Voice News, you can go to YouTube, Rumble, or X and watch anytime you would like. Big D, would you say that we are today now officially the epicenter of the political universe? Is that, does that sound pompous, or is it just the truth?
I think we're leaning. It started out pompous, but I think more and more everything that we're seeing happening, it's just the straight truth now, Drew.
It's true. And wait a minute, are you saying that I started out the show pompously? Pompous?
No,
like,
I'm saying people in Florida have this feeling about them that they're the best, which they are. But
it's true.
Now we are beyond proving that.
Yeah. Now, what's going on? Let's talk a little bit about what's happening, because we have to dig in deep. I'm going on X right now, and as I peruse, I don't even have to go very far, and I'm seeing Byron Donalds, I'm seeing DeSantis, I'm seeing the Bidens and Joy Reid, and there's reasons why. I'll get to those in just a second. But we're seeing a lot of politicians here in the state that are popping up. We're seeing a lot of people's names that are popping up. We come to find out as we are getting ready to go on air, all kinds of things that are happening. First of all, we found out that Mike Huckabee has been nominated now to be the ambassador to Israel. Is that right? Am I correct in that? Big D, did I say that right? Is that true? Is that what just happened?
Ambassador to Israel, yes, sir.
That's right, ambassador to Israel. So we heard that. In case you're wondering why Mike Huckabee was chosen, because there's a lot of, how do I explain this? There's a lot of repair that needs to take place with Israel. There's no doubt about it. Mike Huckabee in the past has said about Israel.
I think Israel has title deed to Judea and Samaria. There are certain words I refuse to use. There is no such thing as a West Bank. It's Judea and Samaria. There's no such thing as a settlement. They're communities, they're neighborhoods, they're cities. There's no such thing as an occupation.
Whoa. All right. So there's that. I don't know what you think about that or how you feel about it, but there is no doubt that there is repair with our relationship that needs to happen with Israel. Now, how dare I say that? I mean, what are you suggesting? That we have heard in the past about individuals specifically who have been doing things against the nation of Israel? Is that true in our own administration? Well, not Trump, but Joe Biden. Yeah, the Biden administration. You can even listen to Douglas Mackey, who is somebody who's been following the Middle East carefully and has been watching from afar exactly what has been happening with our administration, the current administration. Joe Biden's still the president of the United States. I don't know if you knew that.
Not a joke.
It's not a joke. Sometimes it feels like it is, but it's not. Douglas Mackey was on Fox this morning, who was saying,
very simple. Israel has to.
Nope, that's Marco Rubio. This is Douglas Mackey.
What happened this week with the election result not only changes everything in America, but changes everything in the Middle East. It can't be stressed enough. The Biden-Harris administration devoted much of its energies for the last year in trying to get regime change where? In Jerusalem. They did everything they could, from Chuck Schumer to Kamala Harris to all of them. It was about trying to get Benjamin Netanyahu out of power. If the White House in the last 4 years, and particularly in the last year, had spent 1/10 of the time it spent trying to get regime change in Jerusalem onto doing regime change in Tehran, the mullahs would have fallen by now.
He's not wrong. It's true, and he's got the receipts to back it up. So if you're wondering the difference between what a Trump administration is going to do moving forward and what the Biden-Harris administration has done up to this point, there's really no dispute. So that's out there. You also have this very interesting situation that's going on with Marco Rubio, Secretary of State, because Secretary of State keeps popping up on X. Byron Donalds keeps popping up on X. The reason why Byron Donalds is popping up on X is because, yes, Congressman Byron Donalds has been suggested by many to be the pick of Ron DeSantis to fill a seat that would be vacated by Marco Rubio. Senator Byron Donalds, a lot of people like the sound of that. But here's the other thing that's going on, which is crazy. And again, Florida's the center of the universe here politically. Big D, I'm going to add you into the conversation here because we've checked throughout the day today. I want to take it right up to the moment we're on the air right now. And before I say anything, I just want to make sure we are positive, absolutely perfectionists when it comes to describing the situation as we speak at this moment. Check your watch. Has Donald Trump put out anything on a truth or any message at all that says that Rubio is the pick of Donald Trump to be Secretary of State?
I have not seen anything official that says that. And I also have NBC News and New York Post up less than 10 hours ago. Trump is set to select, and also Trump expected to choose. So I'll keep looking. I'll keep refreshing. I'm going to have Nina in the newsroom check us. It's 3:13 p.m. EST, Nina. Let us know if you've seen anything sooner than 10 hours ago on this.
EST, that's extra special tech. That's Nina. That's our Nina, extra special tech. Yeah, we have no, as of this moment in time, there is no confirmation to this effect. Now, we have a lot of people, a lot of politicians, a lot of people in the state, a lot of people across the country that are congratulating Marco Rubio without there being the definitive statement yet at all, right? It doesn't seem weird to anybody that at this moment we don't have that. So what is some of the politics that's being played behind the scenes? Good question. I don't know. Could it be, for example, that maybe this is a trial balloon? This is a Marco Rubio trial balloon that is being sent up in. Is that the Marco Rubio trial balloon? Oh, look, there it goes. There's his face. No. Anyway, is this a trial balloon to see what people say, to see what people think? Because why hasn't he definitively made the statement that he's my guy? That's the first thing. The second thing is, who would be the person that Ron DeSantis would choose to be the person that would take the seat if it was vacated by Marco Rubio to be Secretary of State? Is that what's happening? Is there some talk behind the scenes about who should be that choice? And maybe there's a difference of opinion. I don't know anything. Here I am. I'm just speculating. Could there be a difference of opinion of who that person would be? And until that's solidified, then no official announcement is going to be made? Because, again, sticking with the Florida theme here, Anna Paulina Luna was on Benny Johnson's program earlier today, and she said,
look, I'm actually going to make a public call for Governor DeSantis to appoint Laura Trump to fill Marco Rubio's term in office. I think that she is the best fit if he becomes Secretary of State, which I think he's going to. I think Laura Trump would avoid a really nasty primary in 2 years when that seat then comes open. And I think that she has the qualifications. She proved herself not just, I think, as a national leader, but also as a stateswoman. You know, she fought for election integrity nationally, and I would argue was largely responsible for securing President Trump's win. And so if she'll take it, I think that she would be the perfect fit. I think that Governor DeSantis is looking for someone that would take that job seriously. And I think that she has all the qualifications to include the pedigree to be a wonderful U.S. Senator. And so I'm giving her my full backing. I don't know if she's fully decided on whether or not she wants to do it, but I think that she'd be great.
How about that? What do you think about that? Laura Trump to be the person that would fill the seat of Senator Marco Rubio if he were to be the Secretary of State choice. There's a lot of discussion that's been popped out there as if it's Marco Rubio's job, period, full stop, but yet nobody has made a definitive statement on it, which just seems odd out of all the people and the names that we've heard, at least Stefanik that we know, and we know of Mike Huckabee now and the ambassador to Israel. We know of the Treasury Secretary, Bissett, who will play some audio if you're wondering what his thoughts are on what will happen as the country moves forward. But there's been no definitive answer, and we're still waiting for it. So what about Laura Trump? Yes or no? I'll tell you this. I would love to get your thoughts on it in two different ways. You could either call 866-588-8303. That's our phone number anytime, 866-588-8303. Give me your thoughts. Do you think Laura Trump would be a great choice, or do you have somebody else that you think Governor DeSantis should choose if Marco Rubio is to officially be chosen as the Secretary of State choice? And if you want to go onto our social at FL Voice News, you can go to YouTube, Rumble, or X, and you can just put yes or no. And I'll make D count all the yeses and nos. Hey, D, I'm going to make you count. I'm so sorry, but I'm going to make you count all the yeses and nos that people message, and you're going to have to give me percentages because I know it's going to be a huge number. So yes or no?
I'll probably count them faster than some of these counties on election day. So.
Oh, look what you did there. You did a little political joke. Oh, look at you. Yeah, so D is going to count them. So just say yes or no, and we'll know what you're talking about. Whether or not you think that Laura Trump would be the best choice, or if you think that there would be a better choice. Maybe you believe, like a lot of people have been putting out there, about Byron Donalds and being the pick. So I don't know what is happening behind the scenes, but I do know this. Here's a little, do you want a little ding for you? Let me give you a little inside Drew Steele baseball. It's not really inside baseball, but it's something that I've thought about, and I wonder if you thought about it. How about this that's ding-worthy? You ready for this? You know, Governor DeSantis can appoint himself if he wanted to.
Ding.
That's right. Thank you, D. That's the big D ding. He can do it if he wanted to. He could make himself the senator, and then that would make, obviously, the lieutenant governor the governor until the next election cycle is up. And so that's another thing. All of these things, and again, I'm taking it back to what people have been discussing, which is, hey, I don't know if you know this, but we are the center, if you will, of the political universe. Okay, I don't know who this is, so I'll just ask quickly. Who's on the phone right now?
Okay, this is Jeff McQuaid
from
Lee County.
From Lee County. Hey, Jeff, how are you today?
Real good. It was great meeting you at the Trump Club and the CLC, and seeing you down at the backyard for the big breakfast. And
well, I appreciate that, sir. I get politically, I get around, as it were. So I don't know, Jeff. What do you got on your mind? Are you thinking about this pick, or are you thinking about this whole situation? What do you think about it?
Well, I'm thinking about number one, the pick. I think Laura Trump would make a good replacement if Marco actually does get Secretary of State.
Yeah.
I think she would be a good person in there. She's shown that she's a true Republican. She's shown that she's fighting for voter integrity, amongst other things, and that's something we need.
Jeff, she's done a great job, right? I mean, I can't believe that we haven't had someone to do the job that she did during the election before. Can you believe that? I mean, if we would have had Laura Trump do the things in the past as we had her do this election cycle, whew, awesome, right?
Yeah, it would have been great.
Yeah,
would have been great.
All right.
And I mean, we're talking, in the future, Governor DeSantis, this is his last term that he can be governor.
Yeah.
So think about in the future, in 4 years, whether a Vance DeSantis or DeSantis Vance ticket.
Yeah. Well,
I think.
Yeah, well, I'll say this, Jeff, and listen, thanks for the call there in Lee County. I appreciate it. Anytime you want to call, 866-588-8303. You can give us a call right now. We're live 3 to 6 p.m. each and every day. Yeah, I don't know that Ron DeSantis would take second billing on a J.D. Vance with DeSantis ticket. I'm just saying. And, boy, are we getting ahead of ourselves, because we haven't even got to the point yet where we have Trump officially. We don't even have a Secretary of State choice yet, and already we are getting ahead of ourselves. That's okay. I understand. But it is exciting to think about what she has done. What an amazing job. There's no doubt about it. 866-588-8303. You certainly can call. Right now it is, we've got, most people like the idea of Laura Trump over Byron. And it's about I don't know. It looks like it's about 70-30 right now. Okay. Wow. All right. So we'll keep an eye on the numbers that are coming in on social media, and you can do that just going to FL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble, and X, and give us your thoughts and the calls that continue to come in. 866-588-8303. All right. So we know that Florida is the center of the political universe. What else has been going on in the news today as we entered into the show today? And we come to find out, as soon as I come on the air, that CNN is going to be firing hundreds of employees. This according to Colin Rugg there, who put this out on his X account, Trending Politics. Firing hundreds of employees, including some of their top stars, according to Puck News. And this comes on the heels of Chris Wallace, who says he's not returning after his contract expires. And some people were making mention of the fact that Donald Trump has been able to call out way too many times the fake news, if you will, of CNN. And you might remember this one time very recently, the Republican presidential town hall with Donald Trump. And there's CNN and, I forget, Caitlin Collins, is that her name? That's right. And she wanted to let Donald Trump know.
So when they went to the Capitol and they were breaking into the Capitol, smashing windows, injuring police officers, why did it take you 3 hours to tell them to go home?
I don't believe it did. Oh, let me pull it out. I have to pull it out.
He's taking out his paperwork to show her live.
So if you look at, on January 5th, the day before, I said, please support our Capitol Police and law enforcement. They are truly on the side of our country. Stay peaceful. Stay peaceful. This was the day before, and this was in the form of Twitter. Now use Truth Social.
Would you look at that? One of the many times that CNN was, I don't know, we were palm firmly implanted in forehead and they were egg on face, or I don't know. Is that Big D? Is that the way to put it? Egg on face? Is that the best way to say it? Egg on face.
That'll work. I don't know if it's the best, but it'll work.
I can't think of anything better. How about mustard on face? That would be pain. Mustard's got to hurt. I mean, there would be no reason to put mustard on your face, right? I mean, because sometimes people put egg on their face because they think the protein and whatever electrolytes, or I don't know. I'm not a hygienist, but that kind of stuff. Whether you put things on your face to make your skin look better. I can't imagine anybody wants to put mustard on their face to make their skin look better, right? I mean,
I don't think mustard's up on that list.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I can always trust Big D for the mustard answer when we're looking for it. So CNN going to be firing hundreds of employees, not to be outdone. Hold on. Comcast is set to put MSNBC up for sale? What? What is going on here? No, that can't be. No. The news is out there, supposedly. Look, the ratings plunge has been real. Palpable? I don't know if that's the right word, but I like palpable. I've always wanted to use it, and I never found the right circumstance. I don't even know if this one is, but I like palpable. Yeah, so it really, would Comcast put MSNBC up for sale? And if they did, how does Elon Musk not buy it? I mean, that would be amazing if that could happen. So could you imagine Musk owns MSNBC and X? Talk about an earthquake, a seismic shift. But there's been a lot of that lately. Politically, as we know, here in the state of Florida, and this station, this program, Florida's Voice with Drew Steele, heard across the state. And we do appreciate all our great affiliates for joining in the program. And we are coming to realize more and more that we are the political epicenter right now. There's so much that's happening here. And on top of everything that has been going on in the state, and then you have the protection of free speech by billionaires who understand what has taken place in the past. Because some might say, well, that's not really a good thing, is it? If Elon Musk bought MSNBC, what would he do with it? What could we see? What could possibly happen? I mean, I don't know. I think free speech might be a good thing, and even more of it, and some truth and some facts and another network that might possibly be able to hang with the likes of Fox News and some others, and to have that out there, it might be a good thing. By the way, we've got some votes because we asked you to go onto social media, YouTube, Rumble, X. Go ahead and message us and tell us yes or no. Do you like Laura Trump to be Governor DeSantis's pick if Marco Rubio were to be the choice for Secretary of State, which is not even concrete yet. Like, it hasn't even been announced yet, and people are acting like it's already a done deal. And Anna Paulina Luna, who earlier today said, yeah, I want to nominate, or I would like for, I'm going to nominate. How does she do that? No, she would like to encourage Ron DeSantis to pick Laura Trump as our next U.S. Senator here in the state, which, by the way, affects you. So we had picks for Laura Trump. We've had picks for Byron Donalds. We had picks for Pam Bondi. Pam Bondi. That is a name that came out of nowhere. Okay. Sure. I mean, maybe you have some thoughts on that. You certainly can pick up the phone if you'd like, 866-588-8303, or message us and let us know what you think about that. All right. We're going to take a break in just a little bit. And coming up, we do have to talk about the FEMA discussion that's been going on, because it's all over social media, too. The FEMA employee who's talking about not showing up, avoiding houses with Trump signs. Well, even more concerning information that she brought out. We're going to talk about that coming up. Plus, top of the news from the Florida's Voice newsroom.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force, and I've deployed 3 times. Being a veteran, it's interwoven into your DNA. It is really the absence of the connection and the purpose that can really drive a lot of veterans to some negative thoughts. For those who are in a suicidal crisis, the window of time to save somebody's life is very short. Our duty is to protect ourselves and protect our families. And one way you can do that is store your weapons safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Hey, it's Drew Steele, and you probably know this. I've had a music career, an EMI published songwriter in the past. I've had a top 20 Billboard hit and movie soundtracks. But I got my start right here in Southwest Florida at Soundcheck Studios with Jim Becker. I worked with Jim when he was producing big names like Castrol and Beck's Beer and other commercial clients from ABC, NBC, CBS. He's done it all. It doesn't make a difference what your musical style is. If you're talking about recording for bands or producing music, jingles, he does it all at Soundcheck Studios. Recently, he worked with RCA artist Doja Cat and also a Sony artist Flipton Arrow. A lot of great artists have made their way through Soundcheck Studios. So if you want to make your brand memorable with a jingle or maybe a commercial you want to cut, or maybe it's a band, give Soundcheck Studios a call today. 239-340-0515. That's 239-340-0515 for Soundcheck Studios.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on, and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
Hey, you got this. Just breathe. Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Radical anti-hunting forces are working to ban fishing and hunting across the country. These extreme attacks on our heritage must be met. Thankfully, the International Order of T. Roosevelt is fighting back as the nation's premier organization defending our rights to fish and hunt. This April, you can step into the arena with us and join our fight in Naples, Florida. Join us at the historic Ritz-Carlton Tiburon and hear from world-class speakers including Tucker Carlson. The annual event is the best place for conservationists, anglers, hunters, and all those who want to protect the outdoors to come together, build strategies to protect our rights, and expand opportunities in the future for generations to come. Visit IOTR.org to learn more about our organization and to sign up to see Tucker in April. Visit IOTR.org to learn more about our organization and to sign up to see Tucker in April. You don't want to miss this event.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. My grandpa Lou is the reason why my dad and I started racing, and I'm really proud to follow in his tracks. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. I've learned a lot on this journey with my grandpa Lou, and the memories of my grandpa will always be with me. And in our family, we're used to getting involved, and I encourage you to do the same, especially when it comes to caring for your loved ones. When I think about Alzheimer's and the impact it had on my family, I recognize that losing a race isn't such a bad day after all. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Talking about Alzheimer's can be really tough, but if you notice something, have a conversation with your loved one. Encourage them to see a doctor or offer to go with them. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
To some, the sound of a baby babbling doesn't mean much, but that's not true. They're testing out vowels and consonants and trying different sounds. And by 12 months, their babbling is beginning to take on meaning, especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Learn more at autismspeaks.org.
Hey, it's Drew Steele with a game-changing offer for those ready to master their retirement journey. Look, we're going to navigate unpredictable waters in 24, an election year marked by financial uncertainty. It's crucial. You've got to have expert guidance. That's where my good friend Alfie Townsend comes in, the Southwest Florida certified financial planner professional. Alfie brings unparalleled experience and insight to the table. His latest book, Making Waves in Retirement, it's not just a guide. It's your strategic compass for navigating the financial seas with confidence. Look, with decades of experience, Alfie has created a powerful roadmap. It'll help you chart your course and make meaningful waves in your retirement. And for a limited time, you can get your hands on this book free. That's right, no cost. The book is more than just a collection of stories. It's a blueprint for achieving a prosperous and fulfilling retirement. So don't miss out. Text book to 239-747-1080 right now. It's book to 239-747-1080 and claim your free copy today. Let's make 24 the year you confidently steer towards a brighter financial future. Text book to 239-747-1080.
Now, back to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
All right, anytime you would like to be a part of the program, not like taking Big D's job or anything like that, but calling. You can do that anytime you want. 866-588-8303. The phone lines are open. We are live 3 to 6 p.m. each and every day. Would love to hear from you. All right, let's find out what's going on right now in the Florida's Voice newsroom. It is top of the news.
Top of the news, Florida's headlines. Now.
What are the top headlines that they are following right now on the website, flvoicenews.com, Florida's Voice? I don't know. Amber Joe's got it. What's up?
Hey, Drew. Here's what we're following in our newsroom right now. Big news for a Florida Republican in Washington. President-elect Donald Trump tapped Republican Representative Mike Waltz as his national security advisor, according to multiple outlets. Waltz, a former Army Green Beret, will hold an important role in shaping U.S. international strategies and will brief the president on global events. Waltz has served 4 tours in combat while in Afghanistan. The news is sparking reaction from the state's Republican leadership. Republican Party of Florida Chairman Evan Power is celebrating the news. He called Waltz a true patriot who has dedicated his life to the flag. He said that Waltz's pick by Trump tells our allies that the international chaos under Biden-Harris is over and that the United States will once again be given the respect it has earned. Clay County Sheriff is feeling great about the landslide victory she received last week when voters gave her another term. Sheriff Michelle Cook got nearly 80% of the vote, and she says that tells her that voters want more of the same, low crime and a sheriff that listens. Cook started her law enforcement career as a patrol officer in 1992. By 2020, she beat 5 other people in a primary race. Within days, Governor Ron DeSantis tapped her to begin her term early when he swore her into office. Well, that's it for now. I'll be back in another hour with more on another Floridian who is stepping into a major global role to help President-elect Donald Trump achieve his America First agenda. I'm senior reporter Amber Jo Cooper with Florida's Voice. Drew, back over to you.
Amber Jo! Again, I don't know why I'm yelling. Sorry, Amber Jo. I don't mean to yell at you. I'm just yelling out your name. All right, she'll be back with us in just a little while from now here on Florida's Voice from the newsroom. A couple of other stories that we are watching in the newsroom include Rick Scott, Senator Rick Scott, who was on Fox Business this morning, some of what he was talking about, and Senator Marco Rubio retweeting this.
We know what we have to do in the Senate. What we need to do is have a plan to get it all accomplished. That's what I've done my whole life. Built the largest hospital company, a variety of manufacturing companies. I was governor of Florida. I know what to do. I will get it done. I will make sure Trump's agenda is done, and I think that's why I'm going to win tomorrow.
There you go, winning tomorrow. What is he talking about? Again, Florida, the epicenter of the political universe right now. That is Senator Rick Scott, who was talking about the secret vote. Why does it have to be secret? For Senate Majority Leader that will be happening tomorrow. Senator Rick Scott, Senator Marco Rubio being mentioned as the possible pick as Secretary of State, not confirmed yet. Florida political universe. You got Michael Waltz, just like Amber Jo just talked about, and they're as well a pick of President Trump's. There's another person, Florida, the epicenter of the universe for politics. Byron Donalds has been trending all over the place now. Once again, the #1 trending name out there as someone who people would love to see as the Senate choice. If Marco Rubio takes the Secretary of State job, you see where we're going here. Just understand, this is why we exist. It's why we're here, everybody. Oh, boy, am I sweating a little? I raised my arms and I'm looking at my, okay. Anyway, that's a whole other subject. You didn't need to know that. But in the meantime, we're just it was like a family. You know, sometimes things happen with the family and you mention it. But yes, Florida is the epicenter of the political universe. And it is, as the kids like to say, awesome. Or as Big D likes to say, ding. Yeah, he likes to ding every once in a while for this stage. All right, what else is popping here on Florida's Voice? Yeah, I know so many stories that are out there. We're told through an ex that Border Patrol agent morale is up big after the historic comeback, and obviously Tom Homan and being the border czar. The mention of Kristi Noem to possibly be right now. Let me double check this. Nina back in the newsroom, and even if Big D, if you want to do this quickly, if you could check for me, Kristi Noem as the choice for Homeland Security is not confirmed, right? It's just somebody that is being mentioned, or the expectation is another one of these, right? It's another of the expectation is, or the talk is. It's not confirmed, right? Or is it? Check for me.
I hate to source from here, but this is CNN saying President-elect Donald Trump has selected South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem as his next Secretary of Department of Homeland Security.
All right, so that is a selection. And listen, if we're going to be honest for a second, and that's what we do here in Florida's Voice, it's honesty. Is there anybody who's thinking to themselves, well, I'll tell you what, Homeland Security, that would be a Kristi Noem gig? Nobody said that ever. It's like putting mustard on your face. Nobody does that, and nobody ever says it. I don't know what that is. So Kristi Noem as the choice. But here's the other thing about Homeland Security. You do have the border czar, Tom Homan, there. And that is awesome to know that he's there doing a lot of the quote unquote heavy lifting, if you will, of what needs to be done along the border, and Kristi Noem helping out with that. Yeah, I don't know. Get your thoughts. Let's see. We have Mike is calling right now from Marco Island, Florida, and he's joining us on Florida's Voice. What's up?
Well, Drew, you know we love you. We always love you. You know what? But Byron Donalds cannot be the next senator.
Wait, hold on a second, Mike. That sounded like there's a big butt and a smile coming next. Is that what you're suggesting? We love you, but what? Go ahead.
But he needs to be the next governor. There's a lot of other choices for senator. Listen, if Byron gets picked for the Senate, he only has another couple of years, and they got to do the whole thing again. So let him run for governor, and we both know he's going to win.
Yeah.
You know, he's my buddy, he's your buddy, and I have something else that I'm making some spaghetti sauce, and I happen to know that you are an aficionado.
I am.
And I want to know, what is your secret ingredient? Because I heard you talking about it once.
Yeah,
and
so
you got to share.
Okay. Well, I will do that right now. Thanks, Mike, for the call. I appreciate it there. Marco Island joining us on Florida's Voice. All right. Big D, are you interested in my sauce? It's pretty world famous, to be quite honest. And do you want the recipe? All right, it's not that difficult. It's not rocket science, everybody. It's very simple. If you're making a meat sauce, you brown the meat. You brown the garlic first. You don't burn the garlic. You just gotta brown it just a little bit. The olive oil goes in, the garlic goes in, the meat goes in. You brown the meat, and then you just get 2 big cans of very good. Get good crushed tomatoes. Use crushed, okay, with the basil in there already. Then you got to put extra basil in. And don't be afraid of the basil. The basil gives it a lot of flavor. Don't be afraid of basil. You got to get it fresh, not powdery or anything like that. You got to go buy it fresh, and don't be afraid to use the basil. And then for me, I hate to say it, some people like to sweeten it with carrots. I'm not that guy. I put a teaspoon of sugar in there. Sweeten it up a little bit. That's it, D. It's that simple. And you got to let it cook for at least an hour. At least. I like to cook it a couple of hours.
I like it. I might try that.
It'll be amazing. And I'll give you the exact dimensions. I'll give you the exact dimensions of my kitchen. No, I'll give you the exact measurements because it's important. And by the way, here's another inside baseball tip if you're making spaghetti sauce. By the way, it's sauce, it's not gravy. If somebody calls it gravy, that's what you put on a turkey. You wouldn't put spaghetti gravy on a turkey, okay? So the key is you've also got to don't be afraid of putting water in there because you can't just put crushed tomatoes. You got to have at least half that can's got to be water, and it's got to go right in. That's all. Okay? Are we good? We can move on now from food talk? D, are you good to move on?
Yep, just send that recipe to me.
Okay, sending the recipe over right now. All right. So some of the other news that is out there right now. Boy, there's so much breaking right now. I kind of figured this would be the case. Eric Doherty is breaking the news just a little while ago.
Breaking news. A bombshell.
No. That's not funny breaking news. Serious breaking news. You had to figure that Dan Bongino was going to be under consideration to be Trump's Secret Service director. Real Clear Politics has that story. Eric put that out just a little while ago. The leading candidate is reportedly Sean Curran, who is the iconic photo with Trump raising his fist when he had the bloody ear in Butler. So he is right now the leading candidate, but Dan Bongino is under consideration. Wow. So, I mean, again, hey, hello? Are we all realizing again? Here it is. Once again, everybody. You follow this show. You were at the apex, the pinnacle, the top. I don't know what other word I could use. You're at the top of information because there it is again. Do you see how Florida and people in the state of Florida, Dan Bongino lives in the state of Florida. You see how Florida, once again, central to the political universe. It's any more names? Do you want any more names? I'm sure they're going to keep coming. We are absolutely positively right now the pinnacle, the top, the apex. Representative Mike Waltz said he's deeply honored President Trump is placing his trust in him to serve in the cabinet as national security advisor. There's no higher calling than defending the nation's values, freedoms, and the safety of every American. Together, President Trump and his team, we will. And then it cuts off from there. I don't know why. It just stopped. Not for me. It's just because it wasn't from the actual post. It was just a text that was sent. Text cut off, but that's okay. Yeah. Are you listening to the names of the people that we are talking about? The bench is incredible. It truly is. And the people that we are talking about, by the way, How about another name from the state of Florida? Why don't you give me a... All right, how about this? How about Ron DeSantis talking about how he would like to see Joseph Ladapo being the head of HHS? That's being put out there. I would love. I mean, that would be awesome if Joseph Ladapo, the Surgeon General here in the state, would be the HHS secretary. And he talked to Cheryl Atkinson not too long ago and was talking about...
I personally would, I actually would like to be Secretary of HHS. And the reason I would like to do that is because, so I'm in it for impact. Like if I can't have impact, I'm not in it.
Yeah. If he can't have an impact, he's not in it. He certainly has had an impact here in the state of Florida, has done incredible work. And one of the things that he mentioned in this interview, which I think is true for everybody. I mean, you can listen to Joseph Ladapo talk about what I'm about to play, and you could probably say this about just about anyone that's been picked at this point.
And oftentimes these organizations have a culture. And it's not like a culture with a little c, it's a culture with a capital C. So it literally infests every action that members of the organization take. And then you need to be able to determine who is so ingrained in the old culture of like protect vaccines above anything else, protect our reputation above anything else, twist facts or data and don't show stuff that doesn't fit with whatever our objective is. Who's so married to that old culture that they can't see another way forward? And it's not personal, but those people can't be part of the organization if the organization is going to change.
I love that. I love that. It's not personal, but if you're part of the old way of doing business, if you're part of the old culture, you got to get out of the way. It's not personal, but you're not getting it done. We've got to fix what's broken, and a lot is broken. And everybody admits it. I mean, even Democrats, even you Florida Democrats would say things about things that are happening nationally and be like, it's broke, we got to fix it. Well, you don't fix it by having the same people and the same way of thinking in the old guard. You need new, fresh ideas. You need to bring people in who, like Joseph Ladapo, is like, listen, we've got to change the culture, and we've got to look at the data and the science, and not out to hurt people's feelings, but we got to do the right thing.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, honey bear.
Because remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
All right, son. Time to put out this campfire.
Dad, we learned about this in school.
Oh, did you now? Okay. What's first?
Smokey Bear said to.
First drown it with a bucket of water, then stir it with a shovel.
Wow. You sound just like him.
Then he said.
If it's still warm, then do it again.
Where can I learn all this?
It's all on SmokeyBear.com with other wildfire prevention tips, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
I'll trust water bottles and a flashlight to save the day, but I'll be proved wrong.
With a tornado approaching, I'll realize that I lack a wheelchair-accessible shelter.
When the floodwaters rise, I'll be up in the attic with 20 cans of beans. It's a recipe for disaster.
Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council. Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
when the storm rolls in, my time to find a pet-friendly evacuation center will have run out.
The scorching heat wave will leave me powerless to cool my insulin.
I'll face a hurricane without meds. Now that's a tough pill to swallow.
Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/olderadults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver. And we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. My grandpa Lou is the reason why my dad and I started racing, and I'm really proud to follow in his tracks. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. I've learned a lot on this journey with my grandpa Lou, and the memories of my grandpa will always be with me. And in our family, we're used to getting involved, and I encourage you to do the same, especially when it comes to caring for your loved ones. When I think about Alzheimer's and the impact it had on my family, I recognize that losing a race isn't such a bad day after all. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Talking about Alzheimer's can be really tough, but if you notice something, have a conversation with your loved one. Encourage them to see a doctor or offer to go with them. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months, and whose daughter is due any day. We're with Mike, who's leaving home to protect his family and yours. We're with all service members and their families who need community, connection, and maybe a bit of magic. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today. We're with Liam after his 4th military move, when being new is starting to get old. We're with Tara during the holidays, when she misses home the most. We're with all service members and their families who need connection, comfort, and a home away from home. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today.
Now, back to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Walmart is testing new technology that allows workers to remotely unlock anti-shoplifting displays, while CVS is just giving every customer a brick.
That's not very nice. All right, come on now. Walmart's going to look at tech to allow employees to remotely open anti-shoplifting displays. You know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of what's happening in all these lefty-run cities and states where they have everything locked up. Like the toothpaste is locked up, the deodorant is locked up, the chapstick is locked up. I don't know, Big D, you know, do they lock chapstick up or is that behind the counter? I don't think you would lock.
Chapstick is usually on one of those tall stands you can spin around before you check out. Those are usually
That's
open.
right. Right, it's usually next to like the M&Ms and stuff, like right in the front there. Well, they can see
the candy, the chapstick, the magazines that nobody reads anymore.
Yeah, but nobody's going to take that stuff. But they'll take the other stuff, and it's amazing. And instead of like locking the criminals up, they lock the chapstick up, which is a really weird thing. That's an interesting dynamic that you lefties out there, Florida Democrats, you're probably the same way, because you were the same way with the whole like defunding the police. You were all into that. You thought that was great. And speaking of defunding the police and locking up the chapstick instead of the criminals, you all, and I put you in this category, Florida Democrats, you all have lost your minds. And somehow you're going to try to gaslight the country into believing that the things that you said and you espoused and you believe in weren't really and aren't really. And I don't know what you're talking about. Like, we've been just like you. Like, we never said defund the police. I'm not kidding. This morning, Morning Joe, MSNBC, is trying to convince the audience, and you guys must be lapping it. I don't want to say guys. That's really not really nice.
Please do not use gendered language to address everyone.
Can I say folks, people? You all probably think the same thing. Oh, we never said defund the police. Morning Joe. Here's Joe saying, hey, we never said that.
Defunding the police. Back in 2020, we were talking here. Reverend Al, let me bring you in here on defunding the police. You and I were talking about how representatives in the toughest parts of New York City, in real time, were saying, defund the police. No, no.
What? Okay, so Morning Joe wants you to believe, and I know you Florida lefties, you'll all be on board like, yeah, it's true. No, it's not true. He wants you to believe that they never said that. They never talked about. Where did we come up with this idea? Then who actually was saying that? I mean, as a matter of fact, if a politician says we should defund the police, I'm using a left. That would be my lefty voice, politician. We should defund the police. Like, how would I know in Florida that the politician from Montana said that unless you at MSNBC said it, and then you all went along with it? You jumped in both feet. But according to Al Sharpton, no, that's not what we said at all.
All of us that were on the forefront and still are police reform never said defund the police. We were trying to get...
What? What were you trying to get?
Police of color and of other circumstances.
Oh, of color and other circumstances. All right, I get it. That's what it was. I mean, you can trust Reverend Al. No, you really can't. It's okay. But anyway, yeah, look up his history. Anyway, so, yeah, again, you can't do this. I don't want to say, it'd be cruel to say you've all lost your minds, but you can't honestly tell us that you never talked to us and demanded defunding the police. You know you did. You know you backed it. You know Kamala Harris backed it. You know all of you lefties in this country backed it, and now all of a sudden you're like, we never said that. Oh, okay. Nobody trusts you anymore.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
It's 4 a.m., Monday, and you're literally sucking baby snot through a tube because she's congested. Man, that's love. And if you love her that much, love her enough to make sure she's buckled in the right car seat. To make sure your child's in the right seat for their age and size, visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Show them you love them. Keep them safe. Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. You let him try violin because you love him. And if you love him that much, love him enough to make sure he's buckled up and in the back seat. Find out more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way. My kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org.
So Donald Trump is putting together what we like to call his dream team right now. Some of the appointments that he is making and the thoughts that he has about a cabinet. Well, Tulsi Gabbard has a thought about what role she would like to play. I wonder if you can guess. Well, we'll talk about that coming up. This is Florida's Voice.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele. Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Congratulations on your show. Congratulations on your new show. Big deal, huh?
That's why shows like yours are so important. We have an independent county elected sheriff that's the head of law enforcement in Jacksonville/Duval County. And I know how to work toward making this city safe.
We can't be shy about speaking on things such as faith and politics. We have to remember, in a free society, the public square belongs to all of us.
I'm not interested in North Florida looking like Orlando or Miami. I love where we live, but I think that good jobs means that people that live in this district can stay in this district.
Fishing and hunting is funding a large part of your conservation projects in Florida, and we want to make sure that those are forever preserved.
And the problem with this industry at this point is that they actually target our youth. You can see it in their marketing strategies, where it's bright colors, fun names.
And that's going to be endlessly litigated.
Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Hey, it's Drew Steele with an offer that can help steer your retirement in the right direction. Look, we're going to navigate the turbulent waters of 24 with this financial uncertainties and shifting tides. Having expert guidance is more crucial than ever, and that's where my good friend Alfie Townsend comes in. As Southwest Florida's certified financial planner professional, Alfie brings expert knowledge and insight. His latest book, Making Waves in Retirement, isn't just a guide. It's your navigational compass for mastering the financial seas. With decades of experience, Alfie has crafted a powerful roadmap to help you chart your course and make impactful waves in your retirement. Look, for a limited time, you can claim your free copy of this valuable guide. That's right, no cost. This book is more than just pages. It's your blueprint for a prosperous and fulfilling retirement. Don't let this opportunity drift by. Text book to 239-747-1080. That's book to 239-747-1080. Look, secure your free copy today. Let's make 24 the year you confidently navigate towards a brighter financial future. Text book to 239-747-1080.
I've been dipping snuff for well over 30 years. You know, I could wake up in the morning and have a weird lump in my gums. Guess it's like playing Russian roulette, really. I would love grandchildren. And if by quitting it extends my life some, I would gladly lay it down.
Visit tobaccofreeflorida.com to find free resources to help you quit your way.
Today, push harder, push forward, push vigorously.
There are things that I am hiding from people that I'm trying to inspire.
You can do whatever you set your mind to.
I feel like a hypocrite a lot of the times.
Don't give up on yourself ever.
Smoking, I hide it because I'm ashamed of it. I want to get out of the shadow. I want to show people there is light away from the darkness. I am going to quit.
Visit tobaccofreeflorida.com to find free resources to help you quit your way.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months, and whose daughter is due any day. We're with Mike, who's leaving home to protect his family and yours. We're with all service members and their families who need community, connection, and maybe a bit of magic. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today. We're with Liam after his 4th military move, when being new is starting to get old. We're with Tara during the holidays, when she misses home the most. We're with all service members and their families who need connection, comfort, and a home away from home. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today.
Oh, it's always a good day when you hear from TJ Meister from the Floor Meisters in Naples, 6281 Naples Boulevard, 239-596-4964. All right, let's see what's going on with TJ today. How are you, TJ?
I'm doing well, thank you, Drew. It's good to hear you on the radio.
Thanks, TJ. Appreciate it. All right, Floor Meisters, what do we got going on?
Well, we're just keeping up with the demand for Core-Tech. Just had to order a truck and bring it in from the West Coast of the United States to keep up with all the needs and wants of the people of Southwest Florida. If somebody doesn't have it, give me a call. I probably do.
Why do people love Core-Tech so much?
Well, it's waterproof, kid-proof, pet-proof. So if you got a pool, no problem. If you got a dog, no problem. If you got a husband that spills, no problem.
You got to call the Floor Meisters in Naples. What do you need? Tile, carpet, Core-Tech, 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples, 596-4964. Give them a call, 596-4964 for the Floor Meisters.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just got to hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Thank you for waking us all up out here, for all you do.
Thank you for giving us the voice.
For being out there helping keep the constitutional republic. I want to thank you for
Your support for veterans in the military.
educating us,
Standing up for conservatism.
giving us the truth.
Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Well, how's everybody doing today? We do appreciate you joining us on Florida's Voice, of course. Making this program a part of your day is extra humbling across the state of Florida. We thank you so much for that. Anytime you want to chime in, maybe you have some thoughts on some of what we are talking about, you certainly can go and watch and message us on any of our social media platforms, whether that is YouTube, Rumble, or X. You can go there just by going to FL Voice News. Search us out, and you'll find us. And anytime you want to call the program, 866-588-8303. Maybe you have some thoughts, for example, on what has been happening here. The epicenter of the political universe is the state of Florida. There's no doubt about it. There's no dispute. The names that have been coming up with regard to Donald Trump and a future cabinet and some of the people that we have been talking about today, whether it's Congressman Byron Donalds, who people are talking about possibly being a choice for the Senate seat that may be soon vacated by Senator Marco Rubio, because he may be the Secretary of State choice, although that's not solidified yet. You've got Michael Waltz, who's already been chosen to be part of the Trump cabinet, along with other names that have been out there. Anna Paulina Luna today, who was mentioning that she would like to see Laura Trump possibly take that Senate seat. I mean, there's so many names. There's probably somebody that I'm missing that we've already talked about today. But yeah, all kinds of names and all kinds of Big D. Who am I missing? There's think about it for a second, right? We've got Michael Waltz. We've mentioned. We've got Marco Rubio. We mentioned. We've got the new borders are. New borders are. We talked about Senator Rick Scott. There you go. No, but I'm saying but people that are related to the state of Florida. That's right, Senator Rick Scott, who is in the Senate Majority Leader's race there as well. So there's all kinds of names, people that have been popping up to prove that we are truly in the state of Florida, the center of the political universe right now. Because nobody's saying anything like, yeah, well, what about Wisconsin? Well, they are actually saying some things about Wisconsin, like the fact that you right, Big D, didn't you mention that before the program? It's something that you were kind of teasing to me about the too big to rig. You know, we've talked about it before. The president's talked about it before, how you had to make it too big to rig. And in Wisconsin, they made it too big to rig, right? The one of the Senate races, right? You were talking about that?
Yeah, supposedly at 3 a.m. they had this huge spike in Wisconsin.
No, stop with the nonsense. Nobody would do anything like that. No, I can't imagine. Right? Yeah, I can't even talk to you about it. Listen, you're full of nonsense today. I don't know what it is. Everybody's just in a better mood. I don't know. It feels like the air is fresher. The sky is bluer. I don't know. Maybe because it's Trump and we know that he's the president-elect. It just feels good. Like there's hope. Yeah, remember that, Florida Democrats, when there used to be hope? Instead of, for example, some of what you presented us with in the past. I hate to be a reminder of some of these things, but on the heels of the Florida's Voice story that I saw a little while ago that had to do with the state of Florida and the fact that we set records for tourism in Q3 as visitor numbers surged to 34 million. 34 million people. We set records, tourism in the state of Florida. I'm bringing you up because I remember that time when Andrew Gillum, remember when you presented us with Andrew Gillum as the choice to be the governor in the state of Florida back in 2018? Remember when he said the racists believe that Governor DeSantis is racist? Even everything. Remember the whole racist thing that he kept putting out there, and you were like, yeah, and we were like, no, and ultimately, yeah, I guess probably people don't feel that way anymore about the whole racist state part thing going on because, yeah, a lot of people are showing up here. So it's kind of a weird dynamic you got going on. So we have that story. Tulsi Gabbard, we are told, by the way, Eric Doherty in the Florida's Voice newsroom, who's breaking news all over the place today. Why don't we get Eric on the program? Why doesn't he call in and maybe mention some of this? Because he's all over it. He's relentless. Tulsi Gabbard is looking to become Trump's Secretary of Defense, according to the New York Post. She's also interested in becoming potentially the CIA director, who I know many people, and yesterday we talked about Kash Patel possibly being a choice. So that's out there too. A lot of things that have been popping and trending. Yeah, you know, there's always stuff that is popping this time of day that we love being on. By the way, live 3 to 6 p.m. each and every day, right here on Florida's Voice and the great affiliates that carry the program. We thank you very much. All right, what else do we have coming out of the Florida's Voice newsroom? What do we got? right, let's see. We kind of wanted to save this story. I'll kind of tee it up, and we'll see where we go, because this is kind of like a long form story that we got to make sure we cover all the bases. Because when I heard about the FEMA worker and the story of the FEMA worker who we come to find out went on to a program, was Roland Martin on, I think he's on BET, is that right? And she went on to his program, the FEMA official, who was just fired, we are told, for telling workers to avoid homes impacted by the hurricanes in Florida. Remember, if they had Trump signs, that it's not, quote unquote, isolated. And the FEMA workers were instructed to do it in the Carolinas too. No, that can't be. See, now, the interview that she did was about 30 minutes long. And there's some other parts to the story that I want to bring to your attention, because I think it's important. And it has to do with outside of the state of Florida. But let's play the audio clip that is making the rounds today, that if you didn't hear about the employee, and FEMA, by the way, has not denied any of this, which is part of the shocking issue as well, right? I mean, they could have, if it didn't happen, which would suggest that it did. And it was their directive. Well, how does she describe it?
Stating that I was fired. They all alleged that these actions were made on my own recognizance and that it was for my own political advances. However, if you look at the record, there is what we call a community trend. And unfortunately, it just so happened that the political hostility that was encountered by my team, and I was on 2 different teams during this deployment, they just so happened to have the Trump campaign signage.
Okay, so she's saying that people that had Trump campaign signage were being hostile, and that's Marnie Washington. She was a reservist disaster assistance crew leader. And right, Roland Martin was the program that she was on. And then she goes on to say,
FEMA always preaches avoidance first and then de-escalation. So this is not isolated. This is a colossal event of avoidance, not just in the state of Florida, but you will find avoidance in the Carolinas. Senior leadership will lie to you and tell you that they do not know. But if you ask the DSA crew leads and specialists what they are experiencing in the field, they will tell you. Demand for FEMA to give you those incident reports.
Wow. So that is part of what has been talked about today. And the FEMA worker who's saying that, yeah, not isolated. She was talking about a colossal event of avoidance, not just in the state of Florida, but that it happened in the Carolinas as well. And senior leadership would lie to you and tell you that they didn't know. But if you ask people in the field, they will tell you that that's true. Now, there's some other parts to the story as well that I wanted to get to in just a bit, because there was some other talk about the Carolinas, and I think it's important that we bring up the rest of it. But again, it just feels like, and the American people know it, that time and time again, whether it's MSNBC and the CNN and the legacy media that kept lying and distorting stories about Trump, the Trump-Russia collusion hoax. Do you really want to go down that road? Hey, how many people did we get locked up for that? Oh, we're not allowed to say that. Yeah, you're not allowed to do that. See, because what ends up happening is if a Democrat does it, it's fine. Everything's cool. Nothing to see here. Move along. But I'll tell you what. Yeah, because some people would say, should the FEMA worker be in jail? But then at the same time, that's the FEMA directive, and FEMA is not denying it. There's so many parts to this story we'll get to in just a little bit. But I'm so happy right now to be joined by Jessie Jane Duff. She's fantastic, retired gunnery sergeant, U.S. Marine Corps, and so many things that I wanted to talk to her about. And I'm excited she's on with us right now in Florida's Voice. Hey, it's Drew Steele. How are you today?
Oh, my goodness. I'm so excited to be back because this time we are winners. We're not waiting for a win. We're not hoping for a win. We won. Not only did we win, we punched them in the mouth. We punched it so hard that it's going to leave a bruise, and I'm excited about that.
Can I tell you that it's like, and I'm so serious about this because I talk to people at my church over the weekend, and I'm half joking when I say, the air smells cleaner. The sky seems bluer. I feel safer. I feel like, the kids are playing and they're louder than they ever were before. It feels like everything is better, but it really, I think everybody believes that in their heart, and even some of you Florida Democrats out there who watch the program, you know it. You know that you would rather be in the position that we were in 4 years ago than we're in now because you're living through the same thing. And now you don't have to worry about that anymore because we're going to take care of it. And I'll tell you, it really is an exciting time. And just all of the things, including, one of the things I wanted to talk to you about, I'm so glad you're here, and yesterday being Veterans Day, and how important it is to remember our heroes that walk among us that we can talk to. I talked about yesterday going on honor flights, many honor flights. I love honor flight and being able to talk to our World War II heroes and Vietnam veteran heroes and talk to veterans and hear their stories and to be able to sit with my grandfather and talk about his time in service. And these are the real heroes that are among us right now that we can spend time with to be reminded of how awesome this country is and how we can get back to that place once again. I'm just pumped. I'm just super excited.
I love how you say that everything smells better, feels better, because I just got off the phone with my cousin's wife and said, I feel like I'm high on air. I feel like I'm actually high off of air. Now, I don't want anybody to think that I'm a drug user and I even know what being high is. I want to be very clear here.
Right.
But there's a high in my body. I feel this euphoric lift because I got so tired of us losing.
Yeah.
And after a while, it was almost like a battered wife syndrome. Like, what am I doing wrong? What are we doing wrong? We're just going through this over and over again, and it's a rinse and repeat. And I will tell you, for those who do not know who are listening, I was on the campaign, the 2024 campaign. I was the executive director of Veterans for Trump Coalition.
Yes.
We have the largest coalition of any sitting or former president. The last I looked, it was over 190,000 veterans had signed up to be a part of that coalition, number one. Number two, the fact is that we did it different this time. We didn't try to go at it the way we did in 2020 because it didn't work. President Trump and his team realized what we have to do is make a strategic attempt to go after every single low propensity voter out there. Somebody who registered but just didn't vote. We had over 40, I've heard this number tossed around many times. I haven't looked it up myself, but 40,000 registered gun owners that did not vote in Wisconsin in 2020. That is that would have swung the state.
Right.
Veterans vote at 70% rate versus non-veterans 60%. Well, let's get another 15% on top of that in each group. Let's get another 20%. Because all things being equal to 2020, how do you outdo this? And what he said continually was too big to rig, too big to rig, too big to rig. He stopped saying show up on the day to vote. He started saying vote early, and we started swamping all of these voting centers. We saw that the Republican numbers were far surpassing Democrats on early voting. We got out of our frame of mind, which had choked us, not just in 2020, but in 2022. Look at Arizona, where they still were living by the go to the polls and vote on election day, and they had machines freezing up. They had long lines.
Yep.
They had things that were going crazy, whereas if they had played by the very rules the Democrat wanted, you take their rules and you perfect them. You don't like the rules of the game, guess what? You learn how to strategize with those rules and outsmart them, and that's exactly what we did. Not only that, I got to add this. We had 300,000 volunteers with the campaign who had signed up at TrumpForce47.com, and they volunteered. We taught them how to be a poll watcher. We had 500 attorneys in every single swing state. When the poll watchers were seeing something they didn't like, they called back to the election integrity team who contacted the attorney. The attorneys left and right were duking it out right there on site to fix the problems they saw. We knew we could not wait till after the election to go to court because no judge out there wanted to reverse the standing of an election. No judge wanted their name on that. It didn't matter whether Trump was right or wrong. They said he had no standing, and we were up an uphill climb. Do it before election is over. And we saw that in, the Bucks County alone. They're starting to close polling stations at 1 and 2 o'clock in the afternoon with early voting. We were threatening to take them to court. They had to compromise and leave those polls open 3 extra days. That's how aggressive we were. This went on all across the country, calling them out, driving it up, and it worked. You looked at that. We had the results election night. We didn't allow Pennsylvania to close shop and come back the following morning. We threatened to take them to court. Every single measure, we were not putting up with it. President Trump made peace with Brian Kemp. They made sure they had a smooth and fair election in Georgia. Every single aspect of this was 150%, 200%, 500% better than what we saw in 2020 and in 2022. And that's why we are sitting now owning Congress, owning the House and the White House. And we have, by the way, the first Marine ever to win on a presidential ticket, J.D. Vance.
Yeah, how about that? I just noticed that. I was just looking that up the other day, and I forgot about that. It's hard to believe that in our history.
Yeah, we got a corporal.
Yeah.
He was a corporal.
Right.
Now he's going to tell the generals what to do, and I love it because now there's hope for me. Now there's hope for me. They keep going after these officers, colonels, and generals to have all these highfalutin jobs. Well, now maybe the gunny can be somebody because guess what? It's not about the rank. It's about the mentality. It's about the accomplishments. It's about the drive. It's about the tenacity, and it's about the integrity of that individual. Yeah. And honestly, you have a lot of people that get overlooked because they may not have those little credentials checked off, such as the Harvard grad, the Yale grad, whatnot. Now, mind you, J.D. Vance is pretty credentialed all the way around, but he came from that blue-collar class that is supposed to be forgotten, discarded, and sent to work in factories most of their life. Nothing wrong with that, but he demonstrated that you can create your own destiny based upon the decisions you make.
Yeah, and I my thinking is that I was so worried about how, for the longest time, it felt like, at least for years up until now, that veterans were forgotten. That I felt like in so many ways that, Trump president, the first time, you knew how he loves the veterans. He loves the military. You knew it. You felt it. You could see it in the pride and the love for the country. And then it went away. And I was so worried about that, and I think about what Trump will do now and maybe his plans. Like, what are the plans? What will we see?
Well, first and foremost, I want everybody to remember there are over 600,000 veterans in every swing state. In Pennsylvania alone, there are 740,000 veterans. That is the largest concentration of veterans in the entire country. Yeah. So that was the first and foremost. He did a veteran town hall in North Carolina right after the hurricane. We addressed many veteran issues, reinstating people who were discharged from the COVID vax, removing DEI policies that have removed the meritocracy that the military has always been historically known for, making sure people are promoted based upon their worth, not their gender or their race.
Huge.
And then he also went to Pennsylvania and had another town hall where veterans were asking questions, and so did J.D. Vance. They addressed that veteran community. We called out, here's where, to your point, I agree with you. Veterans were forgotten. She had the audacity to pick a man that she thought was going to turn men on because he put a camo hat on, but he had lied about his rank, never fulfilled 24 years, and became a command sergeant major. He held that rank for 4 weeks and then had to remove it because he exited the military early, retired early to avoid going to Afghanistan, and instead decided to lie for the next 19 years on every campaign website that he had retired a command sergeant major. What a slap in the face to every single veteran out there. Not to mention the botched Afghanistan withdrawal, that she does say she was in the room when he made the decision and she would have done nothing different. Not to mention that she, all the way up to August of this year, she had the opportunity to make peace with those Gold Star families, but she and Joe Biden deliberately decided not to go to the anniversary ceremony at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier in August. They were both invited twice. They declined, and meanwhile she tried to admonish Donald Trump for having a photo with the families in Arlington Cemetery because it went against some regulation. She thought that was going to be her winning message. She thought that was going to pivot voters. Oh, Donald Trump took photos with the family and disrespected the cemetery. That's your winning message? It showed how out of touch she was with veterans, and guess where they were on Veterans Day? My goodness, God bless them both for finally doing what is right. It's a day late, dollar short, but I'm glad they did it on Veterans Day. They showed up at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, and they did the ceremony, the leaf rain ceremony, because I will say at least they understand the optics of August were horrible, slapping the faces of those Gold Star families, and they had to atone for that sin. And I give them credit for finally doing what is right, but they will never have my respect for what they did in Afghanistan. No apologies made to those families, and giving money, billions of dollars to Iran, which caused 3 U.S. service members to be killed in Jordan when they were hit by the Houthis. Houthis that had Iranian-backed drone attack that killed them, the National Guardsmen that occurred. So here we are. We have Hamas, Hezbollah, Houthis that were all enabled by the billions that they siphoned over there. Unresolution of the Ukraine-Russia conflict, which puts all of us on the brink of war. Our national security is basically frail. The last report on our readiness showed that every branch of service was at a weak state of readiness, and we also were crippled with recruiting goals. The only branch that made recruiting goals last year was the United States Marine Corps, and I'm dare to say they probably did it by the hair of their chinny chin chin. They have, you are right, disrespected veterans, reverse Trump policies, and he will come back in and put many of those policies he had placed back in place that gave the VA a rating of 98% approval rating, which has collapsed down to the 60s now under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris.
Yeah, well, it's a new day, and we are absolutely excited, and I am so happy to be able to spend some time with you, Jessie Jane Duff, joining us on Florida's Voice, who is high on air because the sky is blue, the air is cleaner, and I'm just as pumped as you are. Although
high on air. We don't need to go with legalizing anything. I'm high on air. That's all we need.
That's it. All right. Hey, it was great to speak with you again. All the best. God bless.
Thank you. God bless you, everybody. Stay motivated and take the hill.
Yep. All right. That's right. We'll speak soon. Yeah. No doubt. That's next. And it is exciting. Listen, half joking. I mean, it does look like the sky is bluer and the air is cleaner and fresher, and we're just ready to go. We're ready to go to break, too. Coming up, top of the news, Florida's Voice newsroom on the way.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force, and I deployed 3 times. Being a veteran, it's interwoven into your DNA. It is really the absence of the connection and the purpose that can really drive a lot of veterans to some negative thoughts. For those who are in a suicidal crisis, the window of time to save somebody's life is very short. Our duty is to protect ourselves and protect our families, and one way you can do that is store your weapons safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Hey, it's Drew Steele, and you probably know this. I've had a music career, an EMI published songwriter in the past. I've had a top 20 Billboard hit and movie soundtracks. But I got my start right here in Southwest Florida at Soundcheck Studios with Jim Becker. I worked with Jim when he was producing big names like Castrol and Beck's Beer and other commercial clients from ABC, NBC, CBS. He's done it all. It doesn't make a difference what your musical style is. If you're talking about recording for bands or producing music, jingles, he does it all at Soundcheck Studios. Recently, he worked with RCA artist Doja Cat and also a Sony artist Flipton Arrow. A lot of great artists have made their way through Soundcheck Studios. So if you want to make your brand memorable with a jingle or maybe a commercial you want to cut, or maybe it's a band, give Soundcheck Studios a call today. 239-340-0515. That's 239-340-0515 for Soundcheck Studios.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Radical anti-hunting forces are working to ban fishing and hunting across the country. These extreme attacks on our heritage must be met.
Thankfully, the International Order of T. Roosevelt is fighting back as the nation's premier organization defending our rights to fish and hunt. This April, you can step into the arena with us and join our fight in Naples, Florida. Join us at the historic Ritz-Carlton Tiburon and hear from world-class speakers including Tucker Carlson. The annual event is the best place for conservationists, anglers, hunters, and all those who want to protect the outdoors to come together, build strategies to protect our rights, and expand opportunities in the future for generations to come. Visit IOTR.org to learn more about our organization and to sign up to see Tucker in April. Visit IOTR.org to learn more about our organization and to sign up to see Tucker in April. You don't want to miss this event.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. My grandpa Lou is the reason why my dad and I started racing, and I'm really proud to follow in his tracks. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. I've learned a lot on this journey with my grandpa Lou, and the memories of my grandpa will always be with me. And in our family, we're used to getting involved, and I encourage you to do the same, especially when it comes to caring for your loved ones. When I think about Alzheimer's and the impact it had on my family, I recognize that losing a race isn't such a bad day after all. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Talking about Alzheimer's can be really tough, but if you notice something, have a conversation with your loved one. Encourage them to see a doctor or offer to go with them. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
To some, the sound of a baby babbling doesn't mean much, but that's not true. They're testing out vowels and consonants and trying different sounds. And by 12 months, their babbling is beginning to take on meaning, especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Learn more at autismspeaks.org.
Hey, it's Drew Steele with a game-changing offer for those ready to master their retirement journey. Look, we're going to navigate unpredictable waters in 24. An election year marked by financial uncertainty. It's crucial. You've got to have expert guidance. That's where my good friend Alfie Townsend comes in. The Southwest Florida certified financial planner professional. Alfie brings unparalleled experience and insight to the table. His latest book, Making Waves in Retirement, it's not just a guide. It's your strategic compass for navigating the financial seas with confidence. Look, with decades of experience, Alfie has created a powerful roadmap. It'll help you chart your course and make meaningful waves in your retirement. And for a limited time, you can get your hands on this book free. That's right, no cost. The book is more than just a collection of stories. It's a blueprint for achieving a prosperous and fulfilling retirement. So don't miss out. Text book to 239-747-1080 right now. It's book to 239-747-1080 and claim your free copy today. Let's make 24 the year you confidently steer towards a brighter financial future. Text book to 239-747-1080.
Now, back to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
All right, once again, 866-588-8303. Anytime you would like to join the program, we are going to right now check in and find out what's going on top of the news, find out some of the headlines from the Florida's Voice newsroom. Once again, if you want to watch the program as well, you can always check it out on social media at FL Voice News on YouTube, on Rumble, on X. We are right there for you. All right, let's find out what's going on. Top of the news right now.
Top of the news, Florida's headlines now.
And I believe Amber Joe's got the latest. Let's find out what's going on. What's up?
Hey, Drew. Big news coming out of Florida today as President-elect Donald Trump is building his team to push his America First agenda. In our last hour, I told you about Congressman Mike Waltz being tapped for National Security Advisor. Well, there's another Floridian he plans to appoint. Senator Marco Rubio is the name emerging as Trump's new Secretary of State. The South Floridian has a reputation of being tough on China and Iran and will serve the president well in that new role as he moves into a global position. Rubio hasn't commented just yet, but several outlets are saying he is Trump's choice, and lawmakers online are already congratulating him. Among them are Senator Rick Scott, Congressman Carlos Jimenez, and Congresswoman Maria Elvira Salazar. A big win and a vote that makes a statement. That's how Clay County's sheriff feels about her landslide victory last week. Sheriff Michelle Cook got nearly 80% of the vote, and she says that tells her voters want more of the same: low crime and a sheriff that listens. Cook started her law enforcement career as a patrol officer in 1992, and by 2020 she beat 5 other people in a primary race. Within days, Governor Ron DeSantis tapped her to begin her term early when he swore her into office. The Florida Department of Education is slamming an Orlando Sentinel reporter for what it says is bad journalism at its finest. The communications director, Sydney Booker, condemned the publication's report on SAT scores, saying it misrepresents the data and fails to provide context. Booker says the report doesn't mention what the state has done to improve education with the implementation of new standards and assessments. The state says scores on SATs should be considered in conjunction with other factors like high school graduation rates and readiness. 24 hours after publishing, the Sentinel report was updated with an editor's note. Well, that's it for now. I'm senior reporter Amber Jo Cooper. Be sure to head over to our webpage for more stories like this. Drew, back over to you.
All right, Amber Jo, I appreciate a few minutes of your time right there at the Florida's Voice newsroom. Once again, anytime you want to check out the show, just go to @FL Voice News. You can go to YouTube, Rumble, and X and watch as it unfolds before your very eyes. It kind of unfolds. I mean, it's kind of a weird way of saying it. But anyway, we move on. All right, what else do we have going on right now at Florida's Voice? Republican Susie Lopez is going to retain her seat after defeating Democrat Andrew Warren for state attorney of the 13th Judicial Circuit. And we are happy about that. And we are so happy to be joined by her right now on Florida's Voice. It's great to see her once again. It is Drew Steele. So how are you today? It's good to see you. Nope. Are we there? Can she see us? Can she hear us? Oh, she can't hear us. Oh, she can't. I don't know. Dee, tell us what's going on over there. I'm singling her to her. 1 second. Let's see if we can get that working. All right. No worries. We'll figure that out. And if you're watching at Florida's Voice, you see we're doing the 1 second. We'll be right there. She'll be on with us in just a second. All right. Coming up in just a little bit, some of the news that has been breaking, as we've gotten a lot of that today, including Mitch McConnell, who, according to Eric Doherty from Florida's Voice from the newsroom, just tweeted out or X'd out. Mitch McConnell's taking credit for Republicans taking control of the Senate. Mitch McConnell, who I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, has been already accused of not giving certain. I think Kari Lake didn't get a single dollar, zero, nothing, no support. And the concerns was that Mitch McConnell wasn't supporting a lot of different candidates there. That was a little disturbing. So I'm not really sure about. Oh, by the way, tomorrow is going to be the Senate majority vote, and hopefully Rick Scott is making some inroads on the secret ballot that will take place. Why it has to be secret? Well, you probably can figure out why. Because Thune and Cornyn are not the best choices, and I don't think senators there in Congress want you to know who they plan on voting for. Why? Is it because that maybe 2 of them, Thune and Cornyn in particular, may not be a fan of the agenda that the president has? I don't know. All right, are we ready for Susie Lopez? Is she there? Is she ready to join us right now on Florida's Voice? I believe. There she is. All right, we'll try this again. So make believe what just happened didn't happen, and I'm here with you now. It's Drew. How are you? Okay. I'm great, except I still don't hear her there, Dee. I'm so sorry. You hear me now, but I don't hear you, and I've got you potted up. So we're going to figure this out. It's one of the technical things that have. Dee, tell me what you got going on over there, or maybe we'll figure this out. I'm so sorry. Boy, we got to work this out. I don't know what happened there, but it's like the Gremlins, like the movie from the, right? Wasn't the Gremlins movie from the 80s? The Gremlins were all inside of the. We don't want to talk about the Gremlins movie. All right. check and see whether or not she can hear us. If not, she can call 866-588-8303. We can just do it over the phone. Either way. So we know that Mitch McConnell wants to take credit for Republicans taking control of the Senate. Eric Doherty also has put out on his X account that Trump lawyer Alina Habba is the front runner, to be the White House press secretary. All right. That was a name I wasn't thinking of at all. So how about that? So Alina Habba, Trump's lawyer, who's been fantastic, by the way, is the front runner right now for the Trump White House press secretary. And I can totally see that. Although I could see Scott Jennings as well from CNN doing it. Scott Jennings has done an amazing job bringing down the lefties on CNN and frustrating them at every move. By the way, CNN, who's cutting a whole bunch of their staff, right? We found out about that earlier today. Hundreds of employees, including some of their top stars, are going to be gone. I wonder who that would be. So here's a little bit of Scott Jennings, who was talking about the late night comics and was mentioning the fact that, some of the before that, I think do we have Susie Lopez on right now? Is this her? Is she joining us right now on Florida's Voice by phone? Do we have her now?
I am right. I am here. I am here. Can you hear me okay?
Yes. Now I have you. So when I said before, pretend like the thing before didn't happen, now we have to do that twice. First of all, congratulations.
Got it.
How are you today?
Thanks. I'm great. I'm great. It's been a wild week, but it's been a great week.
Yeah, it has been. It's been a wild 10 minutes as well. But it has been a wild week and in so many different ways. Which, by the way, I was kind of taken aback by it. I guess it's just and forgive me, I'll say this. It's not you speaking. It's me speaking. It just seems like it's the Democrat way. I was just so upset when Andrew Warren was talking about the crime rates and talking about them being up. And you having to set the record straight. And it's like you they have the record. They know what's going on in the 13th Judicial Circuit. They know what's happening, and yet they were bringing out these numbers. It's kind of frustrating, but still, the great job that has been done and what has been happening in the county, you can't dismiss it.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, our statistics come from our law enforcement partners, and crime is down in both the city of Tampa and in the county, and it's due to our partnerships, and it's just something we're really proud of. And the facts are the facts, and the facts speak for themselves.
Yeah, no doubt. And so when, as you say, it's been an interesting week, and it's been obviously with the election results and obviously your race and everything else that's been going on. Now getting down to business and some of the things that need to happen. As I've been talking about. Before, it was kind of funny that the topic of low crime has been coming up a little bit, and people who have been espousing the low crime that's been going on in their areas and in their jurisdictions. I was playing a clip from MSNBC a little earlier, and they were talking about how they were never mentioning anything about defunding the police, like gaslighting us like it never happened. The protections that we need here and moving forward, and I think the country sees that as well, and maybe you can talk about this too. The vote was really about protecting our neighborhoods. I think people have had enough in a lot of different areas, maybe not where you were because of what you've been able to do, but in so many areas around the country, people just want to feel safe in their own communities. And for the longest time, I believe that people didn't feel that.
I think it's kind of silly sometimes, but it's true. No matter what neighborhood you live in, everybody wants to be able to walk their dog around the block after dinner.
Right.
And so it doesn't matter. And I'm actually at my house right now, and there's a dog walking up to me. My own dog is walking up, but it's the truth. Everybody wants to feel safe and wants to just have that feeling of security. And so that's something that we worked really hard towards, and we're making great strides, and it's just something we're really proud of.
Yeah, no doubt. And those that are out there each and every day working hard, I'm just so thankful for people like you, and of course the men and women that have been serving in our communities. And it's not something to take lightly. I think sometimes, even as we talk about it now, that's what ends up happening, right? I think they take for granted sometimes that either in certain communities, like this is just the way it's going to be, like it can't get any better, right? I think that's happened more times than not. Maybe you can comment on that, because maybe you've heard that too. I don't know if you have.
I haven't, but like I said, everybody wants to feel safe in their community. Everyone wants to know that if someone breaks into their house and steals their belongings, that person's going to be held responsible and held accountable. And so that's what we're doing. And really, the proof is in the pudding. Our crime is down in Hillsborough County, and people are feeling safer. And so that's something that working with our local law enforcement leaders is something that we've done for the past couple of years since I've been in office, and we're going to continue to do.
Yeah. It's a funny dynamic there, where there are some places where they put the items behind glass instead of putting the criminals behind bars. Like, I never understood that.
It drives me crazy. It drives me crazy. I mean, to go to CVS, and if you want to buy like Tide Pods,
right.
I mean, I went to CVS to buy Tide Pods. They had like a zip tie on them.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's bananas to me. And you go to other places, and it's not just the Tide Pods. It's so many small items that people are stealing.
Right.
And that affects every single one of us. It doesn't just affect Target and CVS. It comes down and it affects the consumer. So we hold people accountable when they commit crimes, especially it's just not acceptable. And so we're holding them accountable. But these retail thefts really affect everybody. Target last year closed 9 stores nationwide, which is crazy to me because of retail theft. This year, they canceled the contracts to build 8 of them. So that is, you're not having the construction. You don't have the jobs. You don't have the property taxes. So it affects whole communities.
Right. There's no doubt. And listen, I also think that it's so important to have the right people in place that recognize what's going on within specific communities, doing the right thing. And that's why we so appreciate you and what you've been doing and what you will continue to do there in the 13th Judicial Circuit, and work to do, but certainly we are happy that you are there. So once again, congratulations. And, I hope soon we get the opportunity to do this once again. Would love to find out more about what you're doing there in the circuit. So all the best. God bless, and we'll speak to you soon. Okay.
Thank you so much. I appreciate y'all. Have a great afternoon.
All right, you too. Thanks so much. That is Susie Lopez, who was victorious to retain her seat, defeating the Democrat there, state attorney, the 13th Judicial Circuit, joining us on Florida's Voice. And so sorry about the connection issues, but I think we've got it all under control now, so we're good. All right, when we come back, we certainly want to talk more about the news that is breaking by the minute. I mean, it seems like every second we're finding more names, people that are popping up. The new name, Alina Habba, that we just heard about for White House press secretary. Oh, and by the way, speaking of the White House press secretary, there was a moment today with Peter Doocy and KJP. We're going to play that audio coming up.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, Honey Bear.
Because remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
All right, son. Time to put out this campfire.
Dad, we learned about this in school.
Oh, did you now? Okay. What's first?
Smokey Bear said to.
First drown it with a bucket of water, then stir it with a shovel.
Wow, you sound just like him.
Then he said.
If it's still warm, then do it again.
Where can I learn all this?
It's all on SmokeyBear.com with other wildfire prevention tips, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
I'll trust water bottles and a flashlight to save the day, but I'll be proved wrong.
With a tornado approaching, I'll realize that I like a wheelchair-accessible shelter.
When the floodwaters rise, I'll be up in the attic with 20 cans of beans. It's a recipe for disaster.
Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council. Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
When the storm rolls in, my time to find a pet-friendly evacuation center will have run out.
The scorching heat wave will leave me powerless to cool my insulin.
I'll face a hurricane without meds. Now that's a tough pill to swallow.
Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver. And we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. My grandpa Lou is the reason why my dad and I started racing, and I'm really proud to follow in his tracks. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. I've learned a lot on this journey with my grandpa Lou, and the memories of my grandpa will always be with me. And in our family, we're used to getting involved, and I encourage you to do the same, especially when it comes to caring for your loved ones. When I think about Alzheimer's and the impact it had on my family, I recognize that losing a race isn't such a bad day after all. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Talking about Alzheimer's can be really tough, but if you notice something, have a conversation with your loved one. Encourage them to see a doctor or offer to go with them. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months, and whose daughter is due any day. We're with Mike, who's leaving home to protect his family and yours. We're with all service members and their families who need community, connection, and maybe a bit of magic. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today. We're with Liam after his 4th military move, when being new is starting to get old. We're with Tara during the holidays, when she misses home the most. We're with all service members and their families who need connection, comfort, and a home away from home. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today.
Now, back to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
I'm sad about the election too. What I'm especially sad about is the fact that I can no longer trust a single TikTok astrologer on this app. So, thanks.
I'm sorry. Come on, that's funny. So, people are upset now that astrologers on TikTok, for the most part, who said that Kamala Harris was going to win the election were all wrong. And that is one kid who's like, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I can't trust the astrologers anymore. What am I going to do? I don't know, maybe not use them. Maybe just live your life, and then that's it. What, Big D, you ever go to an astrologer for anything at all?
No.
Ever? No. I just think it's funny that, what am I going to do? Again, the astrologer was wrong. Just don't go to an astrologer. It's like, it's pretty easy, right? I don't know, maybe. I feel bad for the kids because they don't have an astrologer on TikTok that they can trust. Yeah, that was a statement that I don't think 10 years ago I would have ever said. Actually, I know it because TikTok didn't exist. All right, hey, we should probably move on right now. This is stellar. Awesome. It's part of the reason why people said, hey, can Peter Doocy be the White House press secretary for Donald Trump? Here was this morning Peter Doocy talking about the White House Biden-Trump meeting that's going on tomorrow. And then Peter Doocy asked a question to KJP.
We know that today, a week after the election, President Biden and Vice President Harris had a private lunch. How awkward was that?
Come on. How awkward was it that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris had lunch? That must have been really awkward. Now, if you're thinking, why would that be awkward? You don't know why that would be, for obvious reasons, and Peter Ducey's about to lay it out because KJP says,
I don't even understand. Why would it be awkward?
Because the president got squeezed out for her, and then she kept him at arm's length, and then she lost, and now she's back.
Why would you characterize it as awkward? They have regular lunches. They meet and talk regularly. Why would you call it awkward?
Weirdness about the way that things have unfolded.
Did you see them? Did you see them together yesterday as well when they honored our veterans and were together during the day?
Yeah, people were watching that. Yeah, we mentioned that yesterday during the day, and they were together, and it was Jill Biden who was kind of giving her the "don't talk to me" look, or looking away, and it felt awkward. It looked awkward. It looked uncomfortable.
Making sure that we didn't forget the brave men and women that fought for this country. Did you see them together yesterday? Did you see the show of force together?
That's the show of force together, which of course doesn't extend to the election because there really wasn't a whole show of force there.
This is like, I'm not even going to take the premise of the question. What I will say is, the president and the vice president had lunch today.
Yeah, that's all I really care. I just cared about the Peter Ducey part. I don't care about what KJP says afterwards. It really doesn't matter. So, and it was KJP. She's just probably trying to deal with what everybody there is dealing with, which is the loss. It's so good. I'm sorry. Anyway, I'm gonna let it. It's getting to me. Yeah, it's so good. When we come back in a little bit, people across the globe have noticed what took place. And there was one person in the UK Parliament that had something to say about Trump that I think you need to hear. And then again, Florida, right here, Florida's voice, Drew Steele, you, me, Big D, the center of the political universe in the state of Florida. More to come.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
It's 4 a.m., Monday, and you're literally sucking baby snot through a tube because she's congested. Man, that's love. And if you love her that much, love her enough to make sure she's buckled in the right car seat. To make sure your child's in the right seat for their age and size, visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Show them you love them. Keep them safe. Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. You let him try violin because you love him. And if you love him that much, love him enough to make sure he's buckled up and in the back seat. Find out more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way. My kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org.
All right, coming up in just a little bit, did The View do something this morning when it comes to Donald Trump that they've never done before? Yes, they did. What did they say? What could they have possibly said that would have been a positive? No. Yeah?
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele. Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Congratulations on your show. Congratulations on your new show. Big deal, huh?
That's why shows like yours are so important.
We have an independent county elected sheriff that's the head of law enforcement in Jacksonville/Duval County. And I know how to work toward making this city safe.
We can't be shy about speaking on things such as faith and politics. We have to remember, in a free society, the public square belongs to all of us.
I'm not interested in North Florida looking like Orlando or Miami. I love where we live, but I think that good jobs means that people that live in this district can stay in this district.
Fishing and hunting is funding a large part of your conservation projects in Florida, and we want to make sure that those are forever preserved.
And the problem with this industry at this point is that they actually target our youth. You can see it in their marketing strategies, where it's bright colors, fun names.
And that's going to be endlessly litigated.
Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Hey, it's Drew Steele with an offer that can help steer your retirement in the right direction. Look, we're going to navigate the turbulent waters of 24 with this financial uncertainties and shifting tides. Having expert guidance is more crucial than ever, and that's where my good friend Alfie Townsend comes in. A Southwest Florida's certified financial planner professional, Alfie brings expert knowledge and insight. His latest book, Making Waves in Retirement, isn't just a guide. It's your navigational compass for mastering the financial seas. With decades of experience, Alfie has crafted a powerful roadmap to help you chart your course and make impactful waves in your retirement. Look, for a limited time, you can claim your free copy of this valuable guide. That's right, no cost. This book is more than just pages. It's your blueprint for a prosperous and fulfilling retirement. Don't let this opportunity drift by. Text book to 239-747-1080. That's book to 239-747-1080. Look, secure your free copy today. Let's make 24 the year you confidently navigate towards a brighter financial future. Text book to 239-747-1080.
I've been dipping snuff for well over 30 years. You know, I could wake up in the morning and have a weird lump in my gums. Guess it's like playing Russian roulette, really. I would love grandchildren. And if by quitting it extends my life some, I would gladly lay it down.
Visit tobaccofreeflorida.com to find free resources to help you quit your way.
Today, push harder, push forward, push vigorously.
There are things that I am hiding from people that I'm trying to inspire.
You can do whatever you set your mind to.
I feel like a hypocrite a lot of the times.
Don't give up on yourself ever.
Smoking, I hide it because I'm ashamed of it. I want to get out of the shadow. I want to show people there is light away from the darkness. I am going to quit.
Visit tobaccofreeflorida.com to find free resources to help you quit your way.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months, and whose daughter is due any day. We're with Mike, who's leaving home to protect his family and yours. We're with all service members and their families who need community, connection, and maybe a bit of magic. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today. We're with Liam after his 4th military move, when being new is starting to get old. We're with Tara during the holidays, when she misses home the most. We're with all service members and their families who need connection, comfort, and a home away from home. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today.
It's always a good day when you hear from TJ Meister from the Floor Meisters in Naples, 6281 Naples Boulevard, 239-596-4964. All right, let's see what's going on with TJ today. How are you, TJ?
I'm doing well, thank you, Drew. It's good to hear you on the radio.
Thanks, TJ. Appreciate it. All right, Floor Meisters, what do we got going on?
Well, we're just keeping up with the demand for Core-Tech. Just had to order a truck and bring it in from the west coast of the United States to keep up with all the needs and wants of the people of Southwest Florida. Somebody doesn't have it, give me a call. I probably do.
Why do people love Core-Tech so much?
Well, it's waterproof, kid-proof, pet-proof. So if you got a pool, no problem. If you got a dog, no problem. If you got a husband that spills, no problem.
You got to call the Floor Meisters in Naples. What do you need? Tile, carpet, Core-Tech, 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples, 596-4964. Give them a call, 596-4964 for the Floor Meisters.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
you for waking us all up out here, for all you do. And
thank you for giving us a voice.
For being out there helping keep the constitutional republic. I want to thank you for
your support for veterans in the military.
Educating us.
Standing up for conservatism.
Giving us the truth.
Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Hey, good to see you here. Thanks to everybody who is joining us today on Florida's Voice. My name is Drew Steele. Big D on the other side of the glass. Nina's working the newsroom there, getting all the news stories, the latest, and we got some breaking news coming up in just a little bit from the newsroom. Anytime you want to watch, by the way, you can go to FL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble, X, Facebook. We're there, so you can watch at your convenience anytime you would like. We would love to know you're there. You can message us anytime, and certainly you can always call 866-588-8303 is the phone number. We are live each and every day from 3 to 6 p.m. Rory Diamond is a Jacksonville City Council member, and he's joining us right now on Florida's Voice. Great to hear from you again. How are you today, sir?
I'm living the dream, Drew, man. America is beautiful and rosy again.
Yeah. I was just having a conversation about that, talking to my friends at church over the weekend, and how it's the sky's bluer, the air is fresher when the kids are playing, they're louder. I'm very serious. It really does feel like it's a new day, but that's the point, right? It feels like it's a new day.
No, absolutely. And it gives you faith in American citizens, right? He said, we are tired of the woke garbage. We are tired of people going after our kids. We're tired of the high taxes and government deep state. And all of the collective voice that felt like across America said, we want Donald Trump and we're tired of this. It's amazing. Never seen anything like it in my entire life.
Yeah, it's true. And the excitement that's there. But, there's so much to be said, even as we talk a little bit more about Trump and his future plans and the things that we're seeing and the names that we're hearing of the people that he's bringing into the cabinet and thinking about bringing in. And, one of the things I was mentioning is, and I'm sincere about this too, think about what is going on right now. Florida, you, me, us, Floridians, Florida, we are the epicenter of the political universe right now. There's no doubt about it. Pick a state. Tell me where there is more focus than on the state of Florida here, and that is because of good governance. It's because we're getting things done, and we're proving it. And it's not just the talk, Rory, right? It's about the walk. It's what you do, and we're getting it done here.
Yeah, and delivering, right? I mean, just think about what happened in Florida during COVID. The rest of the country is suffering, and instead Florida says, no thanks. You're going to be outside. Your kid's going to go back to school. You're going to go back to work. We're going to actually use our brains. And after that, I feel like the entire conservative movement, the MAGA movement, just said Florida's the place to be. And of course, Donald Trump is here, and we've got both of our senators going into these leadership positions, and you've got Mike Waltz being the new national security advisor. I mean, his military story is unlike anything you'll ever hear. Even if you hear half of what he can tell you, now he's going to be sitting there next to the president every day, keeping us safe. Like, we are the crossroads. I mean, Trump is literally making America Florida, and we'll be better off for it.
Yeah. And, maybe you can speak to that in your service to the country. And, the fact that when you have people, because obviously yesterday being Veterans Day, and I was just having a conversation off the air with somebody as we were talking about how we just honor our veterans, how it feels like to many people for the past couple of years they were forgotten. I mean, it's just the way people have expressed it to me. And those people that want to serve the country, who have served in some capacity, especially in the military, and this special bond, this special connection that for those on the outside, maybe it's hard to describe unless you're on the inside.
Yeah, there's no question. I mean, I remember the first time I put on the uniform, the Army uniform, and that was incredible. But going to the Middle East and serving there all last year, and serving side by side with, literal heroes. I don't put myself on that pedestal at all, but I put the men and women that I worked with every day on that pedestal, and there is a bond. It's incredible. We text each other all the time. I mean, we live states away, and anytime something happens, you realize these people are more than just someone, that you serve with, their family for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And then you look to see what's going on with the VA, and those are our brothers and sisters also. And the fact that it's so hard to get service there, it's so hard if you've got mental health challenges to get help, that it just shouldn't be that way in America. And I'm really, really hopeful that Donald Trump is going to go in there and fix the VA so our brothers and sisters will get what they need.
Yeah, I believe that. And I've expressed it a million times in the past, and I will never stop of all the people who should have anything and everything that they need, full stop. It's our veterans. I mean, full stop, right?
Yeah, and it's crazy. You know, I used to say this line when I was the CEO of Canines for Warriors all the time, but it was true that in California, it was easier for me to get housing for an illegal alien than it was for a United States veteran, or healthcare, or a job, or food. And it has been that way for the last 4 years. And I'm convinced that Donald Trump is going to take the money that we've been getting to illegal aliens and housing them in all these hotels and give it to where it belongs, that people actually earn and fought for our freedom.
Yeah, no doubt. Rory Diamond, Jacksonville City Councilman, joining us on Florida's Voice. All right, listen, I can't go anywhere without asking you this now. So there's a mayor, and let's just put it this way. And let's just say this. Her words, I'm not going to say she's elegant in her or eloquent with her words. Might not be the best way to express it. Let's just put it that way. But anyway, I digress. It's interesting because the mayor, and you know who I'm talking about, I wonder what it's going to be like for her because of the relationship in the past, you know, with the Biden administration that no longer will be there. I just want, you know, off the top of my head, I just wonder what life is going to be like for her and what things will be like in Jacksonville moving forward with the change in the administration. Now, I wonder if you've thought about that.
I have thought about that.
Okay.
You know, she went a couple of weeks ago, and this just to be, be straight up with your listeners. This is Donna Deegan, the far left mayor of Jacksonville. She went on a taxpayer-funded junket to go watch an NFL game in London. And while on foreign soil, she said that if Donald Trump was elected, that he was going to put immigrants into, quote, concentration camps. And then this, British dude asked, you don't really mean, concentration camps? And then she doubled down.
Yeah.
And she said, yes, I meant concentration camps. And so she's attacking Donald Trump. She's attacking our country and making light of a Holocaust while on foreign soil. And she's going to come back here and think that she can pick up the phone and have those kind of warm relationships that you desperately need to be a great leader. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Just no way.
Yeah, that was when, I guess maybe on the inside, that was so, not only is that awkward, I mean, let's be honest. It's just the two of us talking, me and you, Rory. Nobody else is listening. It's just us.
Oh, just
yeah,
that's
just
good
us.
to know.
Yeah, so that's all. Yeah, it's just us. Nobody else is listening. Okay. That make you, I would imagine you don't make it easier for the city, for the citizens, when you say something like that. You make it harder to do what you need to do. And that's something that I don't think people realize or think about in that moment. You know, we laugh, we kind of joke, we're aghast. We can't believe that was said, and then doubling down, right? But on the other side of it, you have a city to run. You have people who are depending on you. You have somebody who would speak like that, and you're like, well, how do you run what you need to run and do what you need to do? When you say something like that, you've kind of lost the trust of the people in your city.
There's no doubt, and it's a little bit worse, right? Because in Jacksonville, we've got a little bit of a chip on our shoulder, and I feel like everyone was embarrassed. It's like, look, you're the new mayor. You go over there and you say something stupid like that. It diminished the entire city, and it's just not helpful. And then she woke up on Wednesday morning and saw that Duval County voted for Donald Trump. And so you're thinking re-election is in 2027. Your city's already saying, I want Donald Trump. She's on the clock, no question.
Yeah, no doubt. And it's a beautiful thing. It's just me.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, that's just me talking.
It's great to see all of this happen.
Yeah, it is. And it really does feel so good. And knowing that President-elect Trump is coming soon and the people that he is bringing into a cabinet, and it's just exciting. And I think there's exciting things ahead for the state as well. We just have so many good things that are going on. And we're appreciative of you, and especially for joining us, Rory Diamond, Jacksonville City Councilman on Florida's Voice. All right, my friend, we appreciate you. All the best. God bless, and we'll speak soon, okay?
Thanks for having me. Have a great one, guys.
All right, we'll see you soon. All right, there he goes. That is Rory Diamond. Yeah, it is kind of like it's an interesting thing when you think about it. By the way, we're getting a bunch of calls. 866-588-8303. I just wonder what it is, ultimately that, you see what has been transpiring across the country. And clearly now you know that what was said by the mayor. What has been said by so many on the left, Florida Democrats, unfortunately, that were parroting and repeating a lot of the things that were said across the country that you had to know was just not true. And when you say those things, what that does to a town, I mean, as an elected official, what that does to a town, to a city, that the people that, you represent, and how it just makes things more difficult, I think. It's, I don't know. Let's go to some calls, 866-588-8303. Let's see. Who's on the phone right now? What's your name? Hello.
This is Andrew Sherville.
Hey.
Yes, hello. This is Andrew Sherville. Yeah, I'm the founder and executive director of Florida Voice for the Unborn.
Ah, how are you, Andrew? Where are you calling from? Where are you in the great state?
I am in our headquarters city of Tallahassee, and of course we're a statewide pro-life grassroots lobbying organization, heavily involved in the opposition campaign to Amendment 4, which was successful.
Yeah.
Praise the Lord.
Yeah.
But I'm calling in today, Drew, because I saw that you had a guest on your show, Rory Diamond.
Yeah.
And, Rory is – I actually went to college with Rory. Mm-hmm. He graduated in the class ahead of me.
Yeah.
And he was the president of the college Republicans while I was the president of the Students for Life group.
Okay.
And Rory has been a chameleon his entire political life. I can tell you from experience, he was very pro-abortion in college. And he was also, when he first ran for Neptune City Council, he was endorsed by Equality Florida. So this notion that Rory now is some kind of MAGA warrior or conservative champion, I kind of find laughable. And I'm very, very distressed.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell
that he's running for Congress.
Well, a couple of things. And listen, thanks for the call, Andrew. I appreciate it. One of the things that we have to ask, obviously when you make those charges, it would have been better if he were on with us at the time to be able to answer that, because I'm sure he would have. And the question becomes, has that been the case? I don't know. I can't really speak to that, Andrew. I apologize. I wish I could, but obviously it would be better if Andrew were on to speak to that directly. So I really can't say much for that. But listen, we will have him on in the future, and we certainly can ask him about that here on Florida's Voice. Once again, 866-588-8303. Anytime you would like to call. As a matter of fact, right now, if you would like. All right, what else do we have going on? All right, I brought this up earlier, and I didn't get a chance to finish playing some of this. And I think that it's so important because there has been, again, this gaslighting that is going on. They're gaslighting, for example, of Oprah Winfrey, who we come to find out through documents that Harpo Productions was paid $1 million. That's her company. That's her, right? Paid $1 million by the Kamala Harris campaign. And she was approached by, I think it was TMZ. And she gets approached. And
how do you think the election went?
Not talking about the election. Thank you very much.
Oh, is it true that they paid you $1 million for the endorsement for Kamala?
Not true.
Not true, okay.
I was paid nothing, ever.
What do you think about all the celebrities with their mass exodus?
I'm not talking about
Do you think Prince Harry's going to lose his visa now that Trump's president?
And there she goes.
Thank you, Oprah.
Thank you, Oprah. Goodbye. There goes Oprah. So Oprah, who doesn't want to say, I mean, the documentation is there that she accepted $1 million from the campaign to be out there. You would imagine if Oprah were someone who truly did care about the future of the country, that, especially her, why would she take money at all? I mean, we're talking about Oprah. I mean, how much money does Oprah have? And she needs $1 million? So the gaslighting, because of course nothing's going to happen to Oprah. The talk of, hey, we didn't talk about defunding the police. Al Sharpton this morning on MSNBC.
All of us that were on the forefront and still are, police reform never said defund the police. We were trying to get...
Oh, okay, anyway. Morning Joe talking about they didn't say it in any way, shape, or form.
Defunding the police. Back in 2020, we were talking here. Reverend Al, let me bring you in here on defunding the police. You and I were talking about how representatives in the toughest parts of New York City, in real time, were saying, defund the police, no.
Defund the police, no, we weren't saying anything. Are you kidding? Like, they're trying to change the narrative. They're trying to change you and trying to have you believe something that you already know the truth about. Like, how could you possibly do something like that or think you could get away with it? But this is what they're doing. Maybe it's the reason why we hear that CNN's going to be firing hundreds of employees, including some of their top stars, because I don't know how you continue to make it like that. How do you do it? You know, you've got people who truly do understand what's going on and know that in D.C., we need people that are going to be change makers. And there's been a lot of talk about that today. As a matter of fact, it was the announcement of the Treasury Secretary pick, Besant, of Donald Trump, that came up, and, you know, the talk of how we have to get away from things like the Inflation Reduction Act, but we also have to get back to what we know will work in order to get us back on track.
I think we're going to do it through, excuse me, deregulation, energy dominance, and reprivatizing the economy, because we've seen this massive government spending. We got a 7% deficit to GDP, which we've never had in peacetime or non-recessionary period. So, you know, and we've got this Elon Musk cost-cutting commission, which, you know, over the past weeks, months, when I've been out talking to people on the campaign trail, the public is very excited about.
Yeah, of course. Of course they'd be very excited about. And they see how we're going to do this, the way we're going to get out of what we have going on right now, which is this, I guess you could call it a malaise. The inflationary period that we're in, is we're going to have to grow out of it. We're going to have to grow out of it, and we can do it. That's going to be part of it, bringing down the regulations, stopping with the issues of the Inflation Reduction Act. I think he said something about that, right?
Look, this IRA, or Inflation Reduction Act, which is Orwellian named, is the doomsday machine for the budget. I believe that this thing was originally scored, and, you know, for civilians and normal people like I used to be, all the scoring is done over 10 years. I think it was originally scored plus 50, then it scored at negative 300. Now I think we're at $1 trillion.
So follow that. What he's talking about is the scoring. And you know how every time the jobs report would come around, it would get revised down. And you'd be like, oh, this is awful. Well, it's worse than this. Or, hey, these numbers sound great. And then we find out that 80,000 or how many jobs or 800,000 jobs that they said were created were just like, no, they weren't. I mean, pick a number at this point. All these revisions. Well, they told us the Inflation Reduction Act was something that we needed. And they scored it at the beginning, and they said it was going to be, how did he describe it?
Civilians and normal people like I used to be. All the scoring is done over 10 years.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think it was originally scored plus 50. Then it scored at negative 300. Now I think we're at $1 trillion.
Okay, so it kept going down. They kept revising it to say that the Inflation Reduction Act and the money that's out there, the trillions of dollars that we were going to spend that haven't been spent yet, the cost is what is going to affect what is happening with inflation and the economy and jobs and what we'll be able to do into the future. We got to pull that all back, pull it all back. Well, what are you suggesting? I'm suggesting that if the money hasn't been spent, don't. If it's there and it's just in on a ledger, but it hasn't been used yet or hasn't been pulled back, then pull it back. And that is Trump's pick for Treasury. That's Scott Bessent. And that's just some of what he was talking about during the year. These important picks. And, I wonder what you think about some of the picks that are out there. Like, for example, we are told that Marco Rubio is being considered. It hasn't been cemented yet. I mean, I haven't gotten any word on that yet. Marco Rubio in the Secretary of State position, right? Which means that an opening is going to be happening right here in the state of Florida for that Senate seat. Who should fill that seat? We know that Anna Paulina Luna was talking this morning about how she has somebody that she would like to see the governor appoint.
Look, I'm actually going to make a public call for Governor DeSantis to appoint Laura Trump.
All right. So she says, hey, Laura Trump. I mean, look at what she was able to do and help to accomplish and getting ahead of what could have been some of the issues with the election and election integrity. She did an amazing job, and maybe she should be the person. I wonder what you think. 866-588-8303. Maybe you have a thought on this. Maybe there's somebody that you're thinking about and you would like to see the governor choose. I mean, I can tell you right now, still to this moment, I mean, we went on the air and Byron Donald's name was popping up. It's still up there right now. His name has been put out there. So Congressman Byron Donalds, maybe Senator Byron Donalds, is that going to be the governor's choice? Could that happen? Remember, the governor can also, the governor can choose himself. Ding. Thank you, Big D. That's right. He could, technically, he could choose himself. And then that would leave Jeanette Nunez, the lieutenant governor, as the governor of the state, could do that if he so chooses. But it is interesting. It's kind of weird and interesting both. It's winteresting or eared. Anyway, the point is that either way you look at it, why is it that at this moment we have not had a definitive pick? We have not had a definitive choice of Marco Rubio as the Secretary of State. Big D, have you heard anything? Have you seen anything? Have you been scouring the Alweb's Google machine and the interweb's Google machine and seen anything at all with regard to that?
There's a bunch of people on X saying congratulations on being selected. There's no official statement, as far as I know, that is stating that he is, in fact, Secretary of State.
Yeah, it's weird. It's interesting. I wonder why. Is it like a trial balloon? Is there some deals in the works behind the scenes? I don't know.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. Being a veteran, it's interwoven into your DNA. It is really the absence of the connection and the purpose that can really drive a lot of veterans to some negative thoughts. For those who are in a suicidal crisis, the window of time to save somebody's life is very short. Our duty is to protect ourselves and protect our families. And one way you can do that is store your weapons safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Hey, it's Drew Steele, and you probably know this. I've had a music career, an EMI published songwriter in the past. I've had a top 20 Billboard hit and movie soundtracks. But I got my start right here in Southwest Florida at Soundcheck Studios with Jim Becker. I worked with Jim when he was producing big names like Castrol and Beck's Beer and other commercial clients from ABC, NBC, CBS. He's done it all. It doesn't make a difference what your musical style is. If you're talking about recording for bands or producing music, jingles, he does it all at Soundcheck Studios. Recently, he worked with RCA artist Doja Cat and also a Sony artist Flipped Arrow. A lot of great artists have made their way through Soundcheck Studios. So if you want to make your brand memorable with a jingle or maybe a commercial you want to cut, or maybe it's a band, give Soundcheck Studios a call today. 239-340-0515. That's 239-340-0515 for Soundcheck Studios.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Radical anti-hunting forces are working to ban fishing and hunting across the country. These extreme attacks on our heritage must be met. Thankfully, the International Order of T. Roosevelt is fighting back as the nation's premier organization defending our rights to fish and hunt. This April, you can step into the arena with us and join our fight in Naples, Florida. Join us at the historic Ritz-Carlton Tiburon and hear from world-class speakers including Tucker Carlson. The annual event is the best place for conservationists, anglers, hunters, and all those who want to protect the outdoors to come together, build strategies to protect our rights, and expand opportunities in the future for generations to come. Visit IOTR.org to learn more about our organization and to sign up to see Tucker in April. Visit IOTR.org to learn more about our organization and to sign up to see Tucker in April. You don't want to miss this event.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. My grandpa Lou is the reason why my dad and I started racing, and I'm really proud to follow in his tracks. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. I've learned a lot on this journey with my grandpa Lou, and the memories of my grandpa will always be with me. And in our family, we're used to getting involved, and I encourage you to do the same, especially when it comes to caring for your loved ones. When I think about Alzheimer's and the impact it had on my family, I recognize that losing a race isn't such a bad day after all. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Talking about Alzheimer's can be really tough, but if you notice something, have a conversation with your loved one. Encourage them to see a doctor or offer to go with them. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
To some, the sound of a baby babbling doesn't mean much, but that's not true. They're testing out vowels and consonants and trying different sounds. And by 12 months, their babbling is beginning to take on meaning, especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Learn more at autismspeaks.org.
Hey, it's Drew Steele with a game-changing offer for those ready to master their retirement journey. Look, we're going to navigate unpredictable waters in 24, an election year marked by financial uncertainty. It's crucial. You've got to have expert guidance. That's where my good friend Alfie Townsend comes in. The Southwest Florida certified financial planner professional, Alfie brings unparalleled experience and insight to the table. His latest book, Making Waves in Retirement, it's not just a guide. It's your strategic compass for navigating the financial seas with confidence. Look, with decades of experience, Alfie has created a powerful roadmap. It'll help you chart your course and make meaningful waves in your retirement. And for a limited time, you can get your hands on this book free. That's right, no cost. The book is more than just a collection of stories. It's a blueprint for achieving a prosperous and fulfilling retirement. So don't miss out. Text book to 239-747-1080 right now. It's book to 239-747-1080 and claim your free copy today. Let's make 24 the year you confidently steer towards a brighter financial future. Text book to 239-747-1080.
Now, back to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
All right, let's do it right now, each and every day. Oh, by the way, yeah, we are live 3 to 6 p.m. each and every day. If you want to call, 866-588-8303. We love that you called the program. We appreciate it. Also, if you're watching, thank you so much at FL Voice News on YouTube, X, and Rumble. We appreciate you watching there as well. All right, time for the top 5 audio clips of the day. Here we go. It's my top 5.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is Drew's top 5. Number 5.
We want to get to the Maureen Dowd piece. We're going to do something a little different this morning because we're going to read
the entire piece, but it's worth it. I think a lot of people have already been talking about this. We got a lot of calls about this piece, and it's an interesting message for Democrats. Maureen Dowd's piece for the New York Times entitled "Democrats and the Case of Mistaken Identity Politics." It really crystallized how some Democrats are finally waking up and realizing that woke is broke.
Really? Well, would you look at that? Yeah, that's Mika on Morning Joe there, MSNBC. Some Democrats are finally waking up and realizing that woke is broke. It's almost like the talk this morning that they had about, we never talked about defunding the police. What a joke. We never said anything like that. And then, wow, we're finally waking up and realizing that woke is broke. It's almost like they're like, hey, don't fire us. I know you want to fire. Hey, look what we're doing. We can be your friend now.
Number 4.
And so I would like to start by congratulating President-elect Trump on his impressive victory this morning. The Prime Minister and the Foreign Secretary met him in September. Did the Foreign Secretary take that opportunity to apologize for making derogatory and scatological references, including, and I quote, "Trump is not only a woman-hating, neo-Nazi sympathizing sociopath, he is also a profound threat to the international order"? And if he did not apologize, will the Prime Minister do so now on his behalf?
The Foreign Secretary and I did meet President-elect Trump just a few weeks ago for dinner for about a couple of hours, and we discussed a number of issues of global significance. It was a very constructive exercise.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister did not distance himself from the remarks made by the Foreign Secretary, and I'm very sure that President Trump will soon be calling to thank him for sending all of those North London Labour activists to campaign for his opponent.
Wow, how about that? So there is the new leader of the UK Tory party, considered the Conservative Party there. And she is like, hey, listen, does the Prime Minister want to apologize with his buddy over there because they were talking trash about Trump and we want to congratulate him? Hey, you guys want to apologize that? And he's like, we had a nice lunch. Yeah, so I guess the answer is no, you're not going to apologize for that. Okay.
Number 3.
We're not going to leave it up to the federal government to do their own investigation. So this past weekend, Florida has already begun digging into this. We want to make sure that our emergency agency is looking into these details to making sure we have all of the information. We're seeking not only information from FEMA, but making sure if there are those within Florida who feel that they were overlooked or discriminated against because of their political views, that we have an understanding of that and that information. Because look, this is what folks have been saying all along, that this administration wasn't here to serve everyone, only a few. And so as we dig in, I think there's, we're going to find that this, in fact, did happen. We're already seeing it in some of the reports and the databases, and we'll follow up accordingly.
Wow, so she's going to follow up on that. That's the Attorney General, that is Ashley Moody, who said they're looking into FEMA's discrimination of Trump supporters' homes during hurricane recovery. And, yeah, we're finding out that, yeah, it did happen. And the Attorney General's like, we're going to do something about it.
Number 2.
President Biden, do you think that you can get a hostage deal by the end of your term?
You think you can get hit in the head by a camera behind you? All right.
Wow. Oh, we're going to miss that guy. I don't know why it is that 742 million people could not come together this time around, like in 2020, and vote for Joe Biden and even Kamala Harris, because who wouldn't want to have the two of them and that lovely couple? Well, he wouldn't have been around, Joe Biden. That's Joe Biden, who was sitting down and a reporter was like asking about a possible peace deal or any kind of deal, or you heard what they were saying. And then he said, is it possible that you might get hit in the head by a camera that's behind you? Yeah, I'm going to miss that guy.
Number 1.
Stating that I was fired. They all alleged that these actions were made on my own recognizances and that it was for my own political advances. However, if you look at the record, there is what we call a community trend. And unfortunately, it just so happened that the political hostility by my team, and I was on 2 different teams during this deployment, they just so happened to have the Trump campaign signage. FEMA always preaches avoidance first and then de-escalation. So this is not isolated. This is a colossal event of avoidance, not just in the state of Florida, but you will find avoidance in the Carolinas. Senior leadership will lie to you and tell you that they do not know. But if you ask the DSA crew leads and specialists what they are experiencing in the field, they will tell you. Demand for FEMA to give you those incident reports.
Wow. So there is the FEMA worker who went on to Roland Martin's show, the official who was just fired, telling workers to avoid homes impacted by the hurricanes in Florida if they had Trump signs, and saying, nope, it's not isolated. Yeah, guess what? The workers were instructed to do it in the Carolinas. Whoa.
Drew's Top 5.
Yeah, they were instructed to do it in the Carolinas. How about that? You know, and there's a little more to this story, too. And I don't know how many people are going to or have played this today, the rest of the interview, as it were, because there were some other things that this FEMA official was talking about, Marndi Washington, the FEMA Disaster Survivor Assistance crew leader, and what she was talking about. A colossal event of avoidance, not just in the state of Florida, but also happening in the Carolinas. So now we know that it definitely did happen. The claim was that, some of, or I guess the couple of threats that they had from people supposedly were people that had Trump signs. So they decided that, this is FEMA's action is avoidance, about keeping the teams safe. And she said that the leadership was aware of the problem, and that's it. Done. Like, nothing. They have nothing to say. FEMA's not denying it. The avoidance and de-escalation part. So they're standing by that. But there's something else that was talked about. And I don't want you to miss this either, because Big D and I, before this show, we were talking about this. And this is kind of an important part of the conversation as well, because it's the 30,000-foot view. So we know already that they were avoiding Trump supporters in their homes. So Roland Martin says...
So if the property owner uses purple paint...
Yeah, an issue of purple paint came up. So what they were saying was there were homes that had purple paint, and this is how they knew not to trespass. And so when Roland Martin says...
So if the property owner uses purple paint on their property...
You stay away.
And first of all, how does the property owner even get this information?
All right, so let me stop right there. Because there have been many stories that have been out there about purple paint. And if you don't know what purple paint is, and well, I know you know what purple paint is, but the story of purple paint. So many people for a very, very long time, and as a matter of fact, the laws are in certain states, Florida being one of them. There are many states, Florida, Texas, Alabama, South Carolina, many states who have purple paint on trees as signage. Orange, red, blue, different colors that they use instead of purple, but instead of signs, because the signs sit out in the woods. You got a big, large property, many, many, many acres. And so you want people to know where your property line is. So you paint a tree purple. In this case, they're talking about purple paint to let somebody know who's coming into your property that it's private property and we do not want you trespassing. Okay. That could be anybody. It could be a Republican. It could be a Democrat. You don't know, but it's somebody who owns the land who doesn't want you there, okay? And there have been plenty of stories about the purple paint and what it means in a cost-effective way, because then the signs, like we just described, and how they wear. So she says about the purple paint, and he wants to know, here's the big question that he's asking.
You stay away.
And first of all, how does the property owner even get this information?
So how does the property owner get the information that you have, that they need to have? You're FEMA. How are they going to get the information?
So this is something that FEMA has learned over the years from responding to natural disasters under the Stafford Act. So from community trends, you start learning when you take these notation from field intel. If a community has the purple rocks or painted trees, they learned over time that you are met with aggression usually, or they do not want you on their property at all.
Okay, so usually they're met with aggression. Okay. Do they run at you aggressively holding a Trump flag or wearing a Trump hat? I mean, where's the Trump part come in? They come at you aggressively. So is the suggestion that if you're somebody who's a property owner and you paint that tree purple, that the assumption is you're a Trump supporter? I'm trying to figure that part out. But anyway.
Instead of just simply placing a, privacy sign, no trespassing, they would rather paint purple.
Well, they would rather paint purple because the signs wear out. They want people. It's in some states it's not the law, but you're able to do that. So that's not unusual.
Okay. So again, what I'm trying to understand. So if you turned in reports to your supervisors that state political hostility for the people in the field, those reports exist.
Yes, hence why I also sent you screenshots where they're deleting files now from my computer. So FEMA says they fired me, but I still have access to the systems.
So they're saying that they fired her, but she still has access to the system, and she was doing an interview, and files were being deleted. But why?
Instead of just saying, hey, this is how we're going to mitigate it to protect our people, they decided to fire me and make sure Donald Trump knows that they are loyal to him because they fear retribution.
They fear retribution, really? So what kind of retribution? I mean, like getting fired from your job because you decided to seek out or you saw a Trump sign and decided not to help them? And again, FEMA deleting files to make sure that what? You don't find out about it? Too late. You found out about it. So we know that this happens. But here's the big 30,000-foot issue. And listen, we've got to find out what the answer is. Because ultimately, this is the deal. When he says...
You stay away.
And first of all, is this how does the property owner even get this information?
You following that? That's the other part of this. And we still don't have the answer. How does the property owner get information? At this point, somehow, some way, FEMA has to have an answer, right? In other words, if you're not going to go to somebody's house because of purple paint or because, let's just say it's the purple paint. The Trump thing is bad enough, and everybody knows wrong. You shouldn't be doing that. We've already found out that that's the case. But what Roland Martin want to know is, how do these people, you're assuming not everybody is a Trump supporter. I'm assuming that there are some Democrats that own land in South Carolina, North Carolina, Florida, Texas, Alabama. I'm just making the assumption. How do you get them the information? They still are American citizens who need help. And you have decided as a bureaucracy that if you choose not to show up, what? Too bad? They need help. How do you get them the help? That has yet to be answered. And nobody has been able to give me an answer. Well, you call them up. You can't call them up. The phones don't work. Well, an email. You can't send them an email. There's no electricity. Big D, what did you say when we talked about this off the air? You made mention of something, too. What were we talking about? I think, you mentioned mail.
If they see the paint and they decide to not give help, how is that, no matter who you think is in that house on that property, how are they supposed to know how they're going to get help? Do you throw something in their mailbox? Do you
got to have an answer for that.
In a letter?
She didn't have an answer for that. And that should bother you, too.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, Honey Bear.
Because remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
All right, son. Time to put out this campfire.
Dad, we learned about this in school.
Oh, did you now? Okay. What's first?
Smokey Bear said to.
First drown it with a bucket of water, then stir it with a shovel.
Wow. You sound just like him.
Then he said,
If it's still warm, then do it again.
Where can I learn all this?
It's all on SmokeyBear.com with other wildfire prevention tips, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
I'll trust water bottles and a flashlight to save the day, but I'll be proved wrong.
With a tornado approaching, I'll realize that I like a wheelchair-accessible shelter.
When the floodwaters rise, I'll be up in the attic with 20 cans of beans. It's a recipe for disaster.
let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council. Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
when the storm rolls in, my time to find a pet-friendly evacuation center will have run out.
The scorching heat wave will leave me powerless to cool my insulin.
I'll face a hurricane without meds. Now that's a tough pill to swallow.
Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. My grandpa Lou is the reason why my dad and I started racing, and I'm really proud to follow in his tracks. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. I've learned a lot on this journey with my grandpa Lou, and the memories of my grandpa will always be with me. And in our family, we're used to getting involved, and I encourage you to do the same, especially when it comes to caring for your loved ones. When I think about Alzheimer's and the impact it had on my family, I recognize that losing a race isn't such a bad day after all. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Talking about Alzheimer's can be really tough, but if you notice something, have a conversation with your loved one. Encourage them to see a doctor or offer to go with them. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months, and whose daughter is due any day. We're with Mike, who's leaving home to protect his family and yours. We're with all service members and their families who need community, connection, and maybe a bit of magic. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today. We're with Liam after his 4th military move, when being new is starting to get old. We're with Tara during the holidays, when she misses home the most. We're with all service members and their families who need connection, comfort, and a home away from home. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today.
Now, back to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
All right, here we go. We put a bow on the show. In Florida's Voice, anytime you want to join, 866-588-8303. We are live each and every day, 3 to 6 p.m. And as we finish up today, maybe you have a thought if Marco Rubio is going to be Secretary of State, although there are other names that have been popping, and Donald Trump naming people specifically like it is a done deal, and the Secretary of State position is not a done deal for Marco Rubio. So I don't know what the holdup is, but maybe you have a thought. Who should be the replacement for Senate, the Senate seat here held by Marco Rubio? Governor DeSantis gets the opportunity to do it. Who would you like to see? Maybe you have a thought on that, so you can call us. All right, so this is breaking. Here we go. We just found this out a couple of minutes ago. Donald Trump has named John Ratcliffe the director of the CIA. Nice choice. I am pleased to announce that former Director of National Intelligence John Ratcliffe will serve as the director of the CIA, exposing fake Russian collusion to be a Clinton campaign operation to catching the FBI's abuse of civil liberties at the FISA court. John Ratcliffe has always been a warrior for the truth and honesty with the American people. 51 agencies were lying about Hunter Biden's laptop. There was one, John Ratcliffe, telling the truth to the American people. So there you go. Previously served as the 6th director of national intelligence at the DNI, And so that's a pretty popular name. People like seeing John Ratcliffe. So there you go. So that's just in. Some of the other people that we know about for sure. We know, for example, that we have Michael Waltz, NSA. We know that we have the talk of, Congressman Byron Donalds possibly being someone that Governor DeSantis could choose. I mean, his name has been all over X all day long. So he's been out there, although I don't know if that would take place. We have Anna Paulina Luna, who is suggesting that Lara Trump be the choice for the seat currently held by Marco Rubio. She made that clear earlier in the day. So that's out there. We still have tomorrow, and what we are going to find out, I have no idea what it's going to be like, but we will find out tomorrow when we come on at 3 o'clock. This very program, we'll be able to talk about the choice, the vote secretly for Senate Majority Leader. And many people are hoping and praying that it's going to be Rick Scott, that it will not be Thune or Cornyn. And who knows? We have yet to see, but tomorrow we will know for sure. We know that Alina Habba, Trump's lawyer, is the front runner to be the press secretary. So Alina Habba, that's an interesting choice, a good one, interesting. So that's out there. But right now, the story that's breaking is John Ratcliffe as the CIA director. So lots of good things. Now, the talk is people are thinking that President Trump may announce Dan Bongino as the Secret Service director, which would be incredible. There's no doubt. Although it does bring up the age-old question, which is with certain people, whether politicians, conservative voices, would you rather them be in the game or on the sideline like they are, which really isn't a sideline, it is the game. It's a tough choice.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
It's 4 a.m., Monday, and you're literally sucking baby snot through a tube because she's congested. Man, that's love. And if you love her that much, love her enough to make sure she's buckled in the right car seat. To make sure your child's in the right seat for their age and size, visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Show them you love them. Keep them safe. Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. You let him try violin because you love him. And if you love him that much, love him enough to make sure he's buckled up and in the back seat. Find out more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way. My kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org.
All right, listen, hope you have a fantastic day. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow. And don't forget, anytime you want to watch, at flvoicenews.com, on YouTube, on Rumble, on X. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.